game. A disappointing crowd. I would think about 12,000 people, and that is disappointing, as George said. In fact, the 20,000 people that saw the first semi-final, I thought that really did make that game. They're not here today, unfortunately. I really don't know what the people of West Australia require to get them along to the footy, because on paper this appears to be a very good game of football against sides that have been traditional rivals over the last few seasons. This season, Subiaco have won 2 games and East Fremantle have beaten Subiaco once. Of course, the first game that East Fremantle won this season, Subiaco won, I should say, was in Geraldton. And the last game that Subiaco won was in the very wet conditions that prevailed during the final round. It is noticeable that Bill Monaghan, the Subiaco fullback, is out and will pause for the national anthem.
Well, the crowd draws in anticipation for the preliminary final here at Subiaco Oval, and I wonder whether this will be the last league football match for that great veteran in the East Fremantle club, Brian Peake, who played such a damaging game in the first semi-final against South Fremantle. What do you think, Keith?
Well, I think he'll go on. He's a very fit man. He's well into his 30s, but he loves big games like this, and don't be surprised to see him one of the stars today. Bryce has picked him up the last couple of encounters between these two sides. Andrew Bryce, very much a younger man than Brian Peake. It's a youthful exuberance against the wily bomber Peake, and there he is, number 7, and what a magnificent footballer he's been.
Right, for Subiaco, Cocker has gone to full forward, Breeman's gone to centre half back, and Laurie Keane is on the ball. Subiaco attacking to the right-hand side, so they're going against the breeze in the first quarter. Subiaco at the opening bounce, it's Keane against Wolf, and taken out by McDougall. Out towards left half forward for Subiaco. This is Cox now, trying to get round Edgar. Hooks it back in towards centre half forward. Neil Taylor's in front of Christie. From behind was Little. Now it's McDougall again. Boots it up into the forward pocket for Subiaco. Subiaco with the chance here, but the player couldn't control the football in Brett Heddy, and it's out of play about 40 metres from goal.
Ken Casella's right. He predicted that Breeman would go to centre half back.
Yes.
And,
I smelt that all week. Smelt that all week. And the interchange players, George, as they throw them out in Jennings and Kemp for Subiaco, and for East Fremantle, Rowland and Cooper.
Subiaco with the chance through Georgiadis across towards centre half forward. And Little takes a very good mark for East Fremantle, but now he's called to play on. Kicks it into the centre of the ground. There's Peake coming down, leading down from half forward flank. Over it goes back to Little. Little fires it out wide, but it's over the head of Waterman. And Subiaco have marked in defence here through Bryce. And they're caught on the outer side of the ground, but it's a high tackle according to the umpire from Waterman, and Brian Taylor gets the free. Taylor high towards centre half forward. Georgiades in front from behind Deracourt. Oh, good bump by Edgar in the pack. Hand pass out was from Sterrett. Sterrett goes back into the fray. Ellis gets in there, tries to block. Sterrett gets the ball out, play on. Georgiades hand pass to Neil Taylor. Here's the first score off the left foot by Neil Taylor for a goal to Subiaco. Listen to the crowd erupt.
Well, as we predicted, Laurie Keane has started on the ball. He won the first knock and finished up in the Subiaco forward line. They were good enough to keep it in there, and that really is a magnificent goal from the Lions captain, running away to his left-hand side and screwing it back, and a very vital goal into a breeze. I would think that's worth 2 or 3 goals.
So it's Wolf in the ruck against Keane. The young fellow has played 2 brilliant games, certainly having his litmus test today, but Keane wins the knock. Neil Taylor gets it for Subiaco. Subiaco got the numbers at the fall of the ball there. Keane couldn't pick it up, neither could Renstead. Now O'Sullivan's got it, but the umpire said no, it's Sterrett. I'll have a bounce down. East Fremantle going with the breeze. Favours Wolf. He wins the knock out onto the wing towards Ellis. He's got Dargy to beat. Now East Fremantle through Waterman. Puts it up the half-forward line. A good smother in defence by Subiaco.
Bryce.
But Sterrett wins the ball. Fires it up to full forward, looking for Browning. William Clint Brown. The umpire says a push in the back on Browning. And Browning's got the free kick.
Well, Brown didn't like it, and the advantage of having the front position, Browning used his body well. I didn't think there was a lot of interference there, but enough to warrant the free kick. And the Browning throws a bit of grass into the air just to gauge the strength and the direction of the breeze.
The breeze is right behind him, Keith, from that quarter, the southwesterly. He's got to kick the ball perfectly straight off the boot. Browning, the distance will be no problem. It's a good drop, punt, dead centre, and it scores 11. It's 1 goal apiece. And they've been playing for 3 1/4 minutes in the first quarter.
Yes, and a good attacking move started by Waterman, getting onto his right foot. And there we saw Peake and Bremen doing battle with Bryce. And eventually Sterrett took the ball. He sent a lovely pass in towards Browning. He didn't take the mark. He was interfered with. So a very quick reply from Fremantle. A vital quarter this for Fremantle. They're kicking with the breeze.
Keane's been winning the knocks, mainly for Subiaco at the centre bounce downs. Again, he beats Wolf. Over Christie's head, goes to Neil Taylor. Derek Court at centre half-back for East Fremantle. Poor kick, and Subiaco marked through Dargy just wide of the centre circle. Dargy draws the man. Over it goes to Sparks. Oh, Sparks is tackled high by Lester Smith and gets the free kick. Sparks comes wide. Carpenter the target at right half forward. Carpenter up into the forward pocket.
Yes.
Subiaco, and they've got the mark. And a high tackle there on the Subiaco player. It's Hutchison, but he'll take a shot at goal.
Glenn Hutchison getting clear.
Hutchison could make the distance. The drop punt's a good one. It's on target. Clears the punt. Goes through for a goal. Subiaco at 2 goals. East Fremantle 1 goal. And we've been playing 4.5 minutes.
Well, a costly free kick given away by East Fremantle on that occasion. Lester Smith interfering with Sparks. And he went out to Carpenter, and to his joy, he found Glenn Hutchison well clear. He took an easy chest mark. It's a very good kick into the breeze, and we see on this grandstand side of Subiaco Oval where long bowls can be kicked into the breeze.
Keane again doing battle with Wolf. And Wolf wins it with the second knock away. Jenkins falls over in the pack. Lee gets the hand pass back to Bremen. Bremen fires it back into the middle. Chance for McDougall for Subiaco. High kick up the centre half forward. O'Sullivan's missed the awkward bouncing ball, but it's tapped away by Deracourt, and he finds the boundary with that. That's good defensive play by Deracourt. Throw in 45 metres from the Subiaco goals.
Encouraging play by Bremen at centre half back. He's been in the play, and I thought he played it very well on that occasion. Very cool and collected.
Now it's Durack tackling Cocker here at the throw in. Subiaco all the way on the ground. The hand pass comes out to Neil Taylor. Taylor across the centre half forward. Very confident play, and Georgiades has taken the mark.
They're looking good, the Lions.
Yes, they're more direct today. There's another short pass straight down the middle of the field. An opportunity here for Lee. Lee fires on goal, but hooks the kick and puts it out of bounds in the foot. Durack to kick the ball back into play.
Yeah, that would be as bad a kick as we've seen from Lee all year.
Durack with a kick up to the half-back flank on the outer side. Ellis the target, and that brings Ellis into the game. East Fremantle need him to fire. All the leads upfield are picked up by Subiaco. That's putting pressure on East Fremantle. The ball at the back of the pack to Lester Smith now. There's the opening, and this is Edgar. Fires it in towards Browning, too high. Clint Brown at the back for Subiaco. Browning's got him under pressure, and Brown goes for the boundary line, and the umpire says throw it in 35 metres from the East Fremantle goals.
On that occasion, we saw Bremen come out strongly. He missed with his attempted spoil, and it was easy pickings for Lester Smith.
Waterson will take the knock against Keane. Keane wins it, but Lester Smith taps it back to Keane. Keane clears up the half-back flank. Wolf's got the opportunity for East Fremantle. Dargy into his back, and Wolf gets the free kick.
I didn't think he was in his back then. I thought he played it pretty well, young Dargy.
Anyway, he's got the free. Sterrett going in with a round arm swing. I think the book will come out here. Yes, umpire Johnson, the report, Sterrett. And that's a bad blow for East Fremantle so early in this preliminary final. If they win this game, he could miss the grand final.
It was a very good straight left.
He's also lost the football for his team. It was going to be a free kick to Wolf. And now the free kick instead will go Subiaco's way to Hutchinson. No, Georgiades will take the free kick. Hutchinson's given him the ball. Subiaco had 2 goals, East Fremantle 1 goal.
He was the one that was struck, John Georgiades.
He's a policeman too.
Yeah, well, he didn't defend himself very well then. I think it was unexpected.
He'll probably tell the truth at the tribunal too, Kate. Georgiades out towards left half forward now. And a good mark to Freeman. That was a confident lead out of defence by Freeman.
Yeah, can kick a footy.
Now Freeman loads up for a big one. Right up to full forward he goes. Durack's in this. Tap down, it goes to Hutchison. Hutchison to Georgiades. There's the left foot shot on goal. Close, I think it's full points. It is. And Subiaco move up to 3 goals straight 18. Leading East Fremantle 1 goal. That's 6.
Oh, that's a sensational piece of play by John Georgiades. It was he that kicked it to Freeman, and then he ran down and took the ball from Freeman, or from Hutchison after he'd received from Freeman, and a lovely left foot shot. So Georgiades really keyed up, and who are the leading kick getters, Kenny?
Well, John Georgiades is the leading kick getter. He's kicked Subi's 3rd goal with his 4th kick, 4 kicks to him. Neil Taylor started well with 3 kicks. Carpenter on a wing has had 2. McDougall in the centre's had 2.
Umpire O'Reilly to make the bounce down. Keane against Wolf. Wolf went early, wins the knock, but he interfered with Keane, and Subiaco Ruckman gets the free kick. That was interesting because he tried to leap early there, Clinton Wolf.
Yeah. That's a fair kick.
Keane to full forward.
Good.
And a strong mark to O'Sullivan. Got in front of Hetty of Subiaco. Now the hand pass going across here to Rankin. Rankin out wide onto the flank. East Fremantle in front through Peak. He's had to come down to the half-back line to get the kick. Gives it to Edgar. Edgar up onto the wing position. This is Sterrett. Classy football to Sterrett. He took too long there. He's lost the football. It's out of bounds, in fact.
Well, he'd be well advised to put in a very classy display today, George. It might be his last.
Subiaco 3 goals. East Fremantle 1 goal. No slow start by Subi today. Wolf out-rucks Keane and gets the ball back now to Peak. Peak up to centre half forward. It's East Fremantle in front, and Jenkins takes the mark.
A good knock by Wolf then.
Jenkins goes wide. He looks for Browning and Waterson. Over Waterson's head. Now Browning's at the back of the pack here, but he can't keep the ball in play.
Very tenacious bit of ruck work over there by young Clint Wolf. And he's not going to be beaten laying down. He's going to serve it right up to big Laurie Keane. Might be a good contest yet. He's got a bit of ability, the kid.
Waterson will go in the ruck against Jones of Subiaco. Waterson in front, taps it down towards Browning. Now a chance here for Quill. Subiaco diving on the football through Bryce, and the umpire will have a bounce down a couple of metres away from the behind post.
Crowd has built up a little, Ken.
Yes, I think we might get close to 15,000, Keith.
Beautiful weather for watching footy.
Jones gets the front spot and hits the ball to the boundary. Good defensive ruck play. Subiaco in front by 12 points. 3 goals straight to East Fremantle, 1 goal. Waterson in front. Takes full possession, hammers away at the sticks and kicks it behind for East Fremantle. 1-1-7 East Fremantle. Subiaco 3 goals straight.
And East Fremantle kicking with about a 2 or 3 goal breeze. So Subi not doing badly.
Clint Brown comes out members side. The lead on from Brian Taylor. Played a great game in the second semi. Puts it up onto the wing. Little knocks the ball away. Comes down to Jones. He gives it to Carpenter.
Play.
Carpenter sees the loose man, McDougall. McDougall from the members wing now, as good shepherding from Lee allows him to cut in field. Puts it to centre half forward now. Subiaco in front through Georgiades.
Yeah, they're kicking the ball long, George Subiaco, and aren't they looking good?
Great mark by Georgiades. Now he puts it into the pocket to Lee. Lee has time to have a look. Good stop. Just wide. Through for one behind. Subiaco 3-1-19. East Fremantle 1-1-7.
I think Lee would have done well to have had a look in the centre of the ground then. He was on a very acute angle. There were players loose. East Fremantle defenders out of position. Sullivan goes for length on the kick to the outer side. Peak the target. Knocked away from him by Subiaco. Now the ball's pushed back by Rankin to Waterman to Renstead onto Christie. Christie to the half forward line. Quill is the player. Bryce chasing. Quill can fire on goal. Good block by Clint Brown. In goes Bremen. Oh, over the head of Bryce. Browning tackles. The player didn't have the ball. Play on. There's Jenkins with a pass. And Waterson takes the mark and crashes with Laurie Keane. And that was a good pass by Jenkins. Waterson to fire on goal. Yeah, very classy mover, this lad. Played a lot of seconds football, given his opportunity in the first semi-final, and accepted the opportunity. Played very well at centre half forward, and Waterson wrapping up a very good pass.
This is an easy shot for Waterson. The drop punt, he's hooked it a bit, but it might be good enough. No, he's just missed it. One behind to East Fremantle, a golden opportunity gone begging there. East Fremantle 1-2-8, trail Subiaco 3-1-19.
Yes, and they needed that goal about 12 minutes into the first quarter. And kicking with the breeze, they needed to set up something. They haven't done that, East Fremantle.
Clint Brown goes for a long kick down the middle of the field towards Jones and Jenkins, and Jones takes a very strong mark. He outplayed Jenkins there in the physical department. Ball goes out wide. Subiaco in possession here through Bremen. Down the wing on the outer side, knocked away by Ellis. Through comes Wolf. Wolf is grabbed without the football. He's got the free, but he plays on to Derek Court. The umpire says, "I'll bounce it." If you can't do that after a free kick, you've got to kick the ball.
Old habits die hard. I'd like $1 for every time I've said that this year.
Umpire O'Reilly on the crest on the outer side. Keane against Wolf and Edgar. Edgar takes the ball down the ground. Too many men to beat. McDougall knocks it out. Goes Subiaco's way from Lee to Keane. Keane to centre half forward. Georgiades. Cocker went in, but he missed the East Fremantle player. This is Neil Taylor now. Good hand pass to Keane. Keane's cornered. Ball goes out to Hutchison. On to Lee. Lee on the 50-metre line. Loose man. This is a certain goal. This is heady, I think, for Subiaco. Yes, it is. He pumps it in for full points. And Subiaco moved to 4-1-25. East Fremantle 1 goal 2-8.
And that all started through Neil Taylor playing superbly. And there's Mick Lee getting a long handball over the top. He set it up beautifully for any one of two. There was another one in the square, which was 3. And no worries, because Eddie has run right into an open goal, and the East Fremantle defence in complete disarray. But I thought Durack had played very well. He came out of defence, spoilt vigorously, but Neil Taylor showed enormous courage, cut across his path and set it up for another Subi goal. They're looking $1 million at the moment, the Lions.
Interesting that Wolf's coming in the same side as Keane for the knockout. That was even Stevens that time. And the umpire to bounce this slightly to the member side of the centre circle. 4-1 Subiaco 25. East Fremantle 1 goal 2-8. 17 points the difference. Keane wins the knock down to McDougall. He's a long kick. Goes in half forward. Derek Court. Georgiades. Georgiades gets rid of him. But Edgar reached fell off the pack and then fumbles badly. Lets Subiaco in through Cox. Cox goes for a hook up towards full forward. It lands in the open. Out comes Heady. He's overrun the football. O'Sullivan barging the ball towards the line. Good play by O'Sullivan. Out of play 55 metres from the Subiaco goal.
And East Fremantle are in a lot of pain, George. Subiaco are sharp as attack, and they're completely outplaying East Fremantle at the moment.
Cocker to go for the knock with Durack. Durack taps it down, although Cocker had a fist in it too. Rankin plays it out. O'Sullivan misses it. Stolen here by Cocker. Knocked out of his hands by Rankin. And the umpire will have a bounce. Umpire Johnson, 45 metres from Subiaco's goals, right in front of the two-tiered grandstand. Won by Cocker, but taken by O'Sullivan. Up onto the members' wing. Bounces bad for Wolf. Taken up in by Keane. Socket away by Benstead, but not effectively. This is Carpenter. Right up to full forward. Knocked away brilliantly from behind by Derek Court. This is McDougall. Goes for a hand pass to Hutchison on to Brian Taylor. Brilliant football. Hooks on goal. Hooks too far. Hits the behind post. It's out of bounds for a throw in.
Their ball handling is absolutely superb at the moment, Subiaco. Their confidence is high. In contrast, East Fremantle are really behind the 8 ball. They're fumbling. Confidence not too high at all.
Cocker against Durack. Cocker in front. East Fremantle fumbling. Cocker tries to get in the open. Georgiades soccers a goal. Full points to Subiaco from the boot of Georgiades. Subiaco 5-1, 31. East Fremantle 1 goal 2-8. Second goal to Georgiades.
Yep, and another fumble from East Fremantle. 2 or 3 of their players, Derek Court, Durack, all there. All had a chance to push it through. They fumbled, they lost the run of the ball, and there's Georgiades getting his foot to the ball after the East Fremantle fumble, and another one on the board. Boy, yeah, Subiaco serving it up to East Fremantle today. And of course, it was Subiaco who had it served up to them last week by Claremont. Well, not caught today.
Laurie Keane in the middle, but the umpire's seen a centre square infringement, and Subiaco will get a free kick. Too many men on the square by East Fremantle. Keane goes for length, up towards centre half forward, just wide of it. Cocker should have held that, comes down to Rankin. Good tackle by Cocker. Umpire will bounce the ball, Umpire O'Reilly.
And East Fremantle have been forced to make a change. Dericourt's been moved away from centre half back, and moving the centre half back to guard Georgiades is Shane Ellis.
Durack wins the knock, but it goes Subiaco's way. McDougall. O'Sullivan tackles, socket away by Ellis. In goes Rankin now, centre half back, frees Fremantle. Scrambles the ball clear. This is Wolf. Wolf up onto the members' wing. Quill. Skillful player, but he did stumble. Carpenter, that was a bad kick by Quill. Carpenter to Bryce, but well intercepted by Quill, who deflects it across for a throw-in. It's 5-1-31 for Subiaco. 1 goal, 2-8 to East Fremantle. Wolf resumes his battle with Keane. Wolf from behind won the tap down to Lester Smith. He was too slow, and then he pushes the Subiaco player in the back. Subiaco's free on the right centre wing position to be taken by Sparks.
Yep, the advantage of having the front position again.
Sparks towards right half forward. Georgiades and Ellis. Good spoil by Ellis.
He'll make it harder for Georgiades, yes. Shane Ellis.
He's a dour player, isn't he?
Yes, he is indeed, and he's in top form.
Wolf has a look at Cocker. Cocker wins the ball, but then loses it. Goes to Wolf to Renstead. Sterrett now frees Fremantle. Goes for long kick with a breeze. Right up to full forward. Knocked away brilliantly by Clint Brown to Bremen. Bremen kicks into the middle of the field. Cut off by East Fremantle by Edgar. Good football by Edgar. Left foot kick back to full forward. Subiaco got plenty of men there. That's Keane. Keane burrows back into the pack. Gets the hand pass out to Hutchinson. Now it's Quill for East Fremantle. Snapping on goal. It's on target. No, it breaks away. Peake let it go. It's gone through from behind. East Fremantle 1-3-9. Subiaco 5-1-31, and I thought Peake thought that was going through for a goal.
He certainly did, and Subiaco's turned to fumble in defence on that occasion.
Lead from Lee from Brown's kickoff. Going for the ball, Hutchison and Dericourt. Dericourt pulls down a beautiful mark.
Yeah.
Dericourt with a half-distance kick now. Jenkins up against Bremen. Bremen thumping it away towards the boundary. He's been a success so far in that centre half-back position, Bremen. What are his figures, Ken?
He's had 1 mark, 3 kicks and 1 effective hand pass.
Keane and Wolf. And Wolf gets the free kick. Clever football by the young ruckman.
My word, he's doing very well now. He's a very determined character.
Wolf boots it up to full forward. Up goes Browning, knocked away by Clint Brown. This is Sparks. Bryce. Bryce over the top to Carpenter.
They're still running.
Carpenter draws the man. Infield he goes to Bremen. That's good football. Bremen into the forward pocket. Eddie's in front and takes the mark at the 50-metre line. Outmarked O'Sullivan. That's a good effort.
Great passage of play that by Subi.
Fancy Bremen joining in from centre half back like that. That's top-notch football.
And a surprise selection at full forward is Brett Heddy.
Heddy now from 50 metres out. This won't score. Durack in front. From behind, Cocker claims the mark. Not paid. Subiaco escaped through Hutchison. The left foot snap looks pretty good. It's close. No, it's just missed. 1 behind to Subiaco. They're 5-2-32. East Fremantle 1 goal 3-9.
Yep, and their reflexes look a little slow to me, East Fremantle. Every time the ball spills from the pack, it's Subiaco will get there first, while East Fremantle are looking around and just lacking a little in the reflex department.
Ellis comes wide, looks for O'Sullivan. Now, I don't know whether he touched that. It doesn't make any difference because Subiaco have got it through Heddy. Shakes off Little, draws the man, perfect play, gives it to Brian Taylor, good tackle by Little. In goes Heddy for Subiaco. Good football, he kept the ball in front, gives it back to Brian Taylor. Brian Taylor's got a lead from Lee at centre half forward. Lee goes up into the forward pocket. Here's a chance for Subiaco. Dargy fires on goal and kicks full points. And the 6th goal is on the board for Subiaco. 6-2-38. East Fremantle 1-3-9, and they're doing to East Fremantle what Claremont did to Subiaco last week.
And Dargy doesn't kick many goals, but he was absolutely delighted. There's Mick Lee. He's done this a couple of times now with good handball. He sets it up beautifully for Dargy, and he runs into an open goal. Well, that's twice in this quarter we've seen Subiaco players getting clear, and Mick Lee in possession unselfishly over the top. He's a real club man, Mick Lee, and he had no hesitation in getting that one over. And Dargy put it right through the middle.
East Fremantle look a bit shell-shocked as Cocker takes full possession, grabbed by Sterrett. In goes Wolf. He's grabbed by McDougall. The umpire penalises Wolf, and McDougall gets the free kick.
And again, George, the signs of a little bit of Slow reflexes there. Player laying over the ball and not getting rid of it quickly enough.
Now McDougall goes for length on the kick, and he's a pretty good kick. Keane the target, knocked away from him by Durack. Durack interferes with Georgiades, but gets away with it. Georgiades gets the ball through the pack. Rankin plays it out to the boundary. Now he hooks it up onto the wing, but it's all Subiaco. Carpenter's kick to full forward. High leap from behind by East Fremantle's Wolf, knocks the ball down. Wolf goes in over the top of the football and gets the free kick from the back.
Well, this young man has got plenty of courage, and even though he's battling hard against the height advantage in the ruck, he's not doing badly at all, Wolf.
You look for Waterman there, but it's out of bounds.
Yeah, Waterman hasn't come into the game yet, Keith, and neither has Murray Renstead, who hasn't had a kick in the centre, and McDougall opposed to him has had 5.
Yeah, one handball, Murray Renstead, I think.
Wolf knocked it down to Waterman, but he was too slow. Now Renstead gets it out to Sterrett, but he's cornered by Lee. Into the open spaces, Subiaco win the race. Hutchinson back to half forward. Jennings. Nice defensive hand pass back here to McDougall. Lee backs him up. Play on, says the umpire. Socket away from Jennings by Edgar. Rankin. Now Edgar again. The umpire will bounce this one on the corner of the square with Subiaco in attack.
Edgar's been a very tigerish player for East Fremantle, and he's set up a couple of their moves, and he broke up a very promising Subi attack then.
Subiaco lead, 38 points to 9. Won by Wolf. Lee caught with the football, comes to McDougall, blanketed by Wolf. This is Hutchison for Subiaco. Dargy. Wolf taps the ball out. He's playing a good game, Wolf. There goes a hand pass by Deracourt, knocked away by Christie. Subiaco in the van, through Lee. Lee draws the man, gives it to Dargy. Brilliant football by Subiaco. Dargy gives it back to Lee. Lee runs to 50 metres. Takes a shot into the square. Georgiades in front. Now it's the Durack policeman. Missed the football. Neil Taylor. Neil Taylor back to Georgiades. Pushed in the back. He'll get the free kick. Yes, he will. The ball went out of bounds, but Georgiades has got the free. 15 metres out from goal, right in front.
Yep, and David Johnson right on the spot on that occasion. How many times in the game of footy do we see a player pushed fair and square in the middle of the back when he's just about to kick the footy? Well, umpire David Johnson right on the spot. Deracourt and in fact it was Ellis, not Deracourt.
Very obvious too, Keith, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Well, he's going to take the shot, Georgiades. A charity one coming up, or an easy one coming up for Subiaco. He's put it through for a goal. Subiaco 7-2-44. East Fremantle 1 goal, 3-9. 3 goals for Georgiades.
Yes, and I doubt very much whether East Fremantle can come back in at this stage. They're kicking with the breeze in this quarter, but Subiaco have been absolutely sensational. Even though Wolf has given good opposition, Keane earlier on won all the hit-outs. He sent Subiaco moving, but they wanted the ball more than East Fremantle. They were always first to the ball, and ball handling was absolutely superb. And of course, with the ball being handled beautifully, disposed of beautifully, it's made it a lot easier for Subiaco. And in contrast, East Fremantle just haven't got it together at all.
And is Hayden Bunton smiling?
Yes, he's smiling, and he's certainly done wonders in a week with Subiaco as Cocker wins the knock to Dargy. Renstead has left the ball behind. Waterman boots it up to centre half forward for East Fremantle. Hutchinson drops it. Through comes Little, misses the football. Sparks gets grabbed, play on. And umpire Johnson will bounce this one.
Pretty heavy out there, George.
Yes, a lot of hard tackles in that pack. 50 metres from East Fremantle's goal. Waterson wins the knock to Lester Smith. Hooks back on goal. Won't make the distance. Browning and Brown. Brown for Subiaco. Rushes it through for fourth behind.
Cooper on. Deracourt off.
1 goal, 4-10 East Fremantle. Trailing Subiaco 7-2-44. Clint Brown to Brian Taylor. Taylor looks for Bryce. It's easy for Subiaco, Keith.
Too easy.
Bryce now down the wing. Jones takes the mark nonchalantly in front of Cooper. They're not playing round corners today, Subiaco, as Jones kicks to the half-forward line. Cocker thumps it across to centre half-forward. Georgiades and Ellis. Now it's Hutchison, back to Georgiades. Got Quill to beat. Good play by Quill. Holding the ball. He's penalised Quill at the bottom of the pack. I thought the player was laying on top of him.
Well, Quill was being held early, but the umpire was obscured from that.
Georgiades looks for Heady and finds him 25 metres out from goal.
And Heady's giving O'Sullivan the runaround.
Yeah, he really is. And very well played then by Georgiades, even though he had infringed earlier, but he infringed where the umpire couldn't see it. Everyone on this side of the ground could see it. The umpire couldn't. He had hold of Quill by the arm, and I think he was anticipating the free kick when the whistle went. He laid on the ball and got penalised himself.
Here's Heady now. Vital kick. Subiaco can really consolidate. Drop punts of beauty. It's gone right through for a goal. 8-2-50 for Subiaco. 1 goal, 4-10 to East Fremantle. That's 2 goals for Brett Heady playing at full forward.
Well. And Hayden Button certainly comes up with some surprises from time to time. Breman at centre half-back has been successful, and Heady, O'Sullivan can't find him at all. And O'Sullivan, to me, looks out of position in the back pocket, and I'd still like to see him at centre half-back. He's the best centre half-back in the state, and that's where he should be, really.
Wolf is there, wins the knock. Taken away by Cooper, up to centre half-forward for East Fremantle, but Sparks in the way. Clint Brown provides the lead on the outer side, but so does McDougall, and McDougall takes the mark on the half-back flank.
That loose man has been created because East Fremantle have their second rover up on the ball somewhere.
Kicked out of the half-forward line. East Fremantle under pressure again. Waterman. Oh, he got tackled without the football by Dargy, and Waterman gets the free. East Fremantle get it further afield to Ellis. They're under pressure all the time, East Fremantle. Jenkins, but Ellis gets a free kick for pushing the back. Gets dumped. No 50 metres. That was by Georgiades. Ellis goes for distance, up towards centre half forward. Waterson's in the pack, but too many Subiaco and Alan Jones pulls down a good mark. Gives the ball to Breman. Breman on now to Jennings. Jennings pushed off the kick, goes up to centre half forward. Waterman for East Fremantle. Drives the Sharks back into attack, but it's a haphazard kick. Pete can't mark, coming through Rankin. Rankin puts it hurriedly up into the forward pocket, but Subiaco got it covered. Bad bounce, goes against Jones. Hand pass by Waterson to Little. Fires at an open goal and kicks a goal for East Fremantle. Much needed goal. That was a bad bounce against Subiaco in the back line. And East Fremantle at 2-4-16, trailing Subiaco 8-2-50.
Yep, and there's some of the crowd. They look like Subi supporters to me, but a bad bounce going against Graham Jones. The luck of the draw there. Waterson follows through. A lovely handball to Little. Now, he knew he had an open goal. The ball only had to be straight, and had it dropped short, it would have bounced through. It didn't. It was a lovely kick from Little, and he's a very promising young player. And boy, did East Fremantle need that.
McDougall's burning in the centre, Ken.
7 kicks and 1 hand pass. Murray Renstead, his opponent, has had 3 effective hand passes. He hasn't had a kick.
Wolf went too early. Cocker's won the knock, but Christie sharks the ball. And the mark taken by Breman on the half-back line for Subiaco. Back into the centre. Looks for Cocker. It's over him. At the back is Ellis. And the siren sounds for the first quarter here at Subiaco Oval in the preliminary final. And Subiaco certainly dominating. 8 goals 2, 50 to East Fremantle 2 goals 4, and that's 16. Goal kickers for Subiaco, Georgiades in absolute superlative form. Centre half forward has kicked 3. Heady has kicked 2, playing at full forward. And 1 goal each to Neil Taylor, Dargy and Hutchison. And for East Fremantle, 1 goal each to Browning and Michael Little. I thought we saw some excellent goals in that first quarter, Keith.
Yes, we certainly did, and most of them by Subiaco, of course. But what a lightning start by Subiaco. And George, I think we said this morning that if Keane could give the Subiaco smaller players the opportunity out of the middle, then this could happen. And he did that early in the game. He got spirited opposition from young Wolf. But by the same token, he was able to get his hand to the ball first. He was able to palm it down in the direction of the Subiaco smaller men. The ball got into their forward line quickly, and they did the rest.
A lot of those Subiaco men have built up a lot of possessions in the first quarter, Casellas.
Yes, George, particularly John Georgiades at centre half forward, following on his grand performance last week, Georgiades, in which he kicked 5 goals when Claremont beat Subiaco convincingly, and Georgiades played an outstanding game at centre half forward in a beaten side last week, and he's carried on the good work this afternoon at centre half forward for Subiaco. 2 marks, 8 kicks and 1 effective hand passes. And in the centre, Brad McDougall, he's trouncing Murray Renstead. He's had 7 kicks and 1 hand pass. Renstead from East Fremantle has had 3 hand passes only. Then the other Subiaco players, Dargy on his wing, 1 kick and 3 hand passes. Greg Carpenter, the Subiaco captain, playing strongly on his wing. He's had 2 opponents in Little and Quill. He's had 2 marks and 5 kicks.
And one wasn't expecting the Subiaco centre line to dominate, because we had Waterman, Renstead and Quill across. That was a line that everyone reckoned East Fremantle were going to win on.
Well, they've been outclassed, George, because Greg Carpenter on this wing has used the experience magnificently, and I don't know how many times he dropped back from the pack, got the hurried Ishmael kick, was able to direct the ball back in. McDougall in the centre, of course, dominated, and Dargy was a very effective player on the other wing. So the Subiaco centre line has dominated for sure.
And what about in the Subiaco defence, Breeman and Clint Brown and those sort of fellas, Ken?
Well, Breeman's led their defence very well at centre half back, George, with 2 marks, 5 kicks, and he's fired out a couple of very good hand passes, and he's playing well. Clint Brown has spoilt well. He hasn't had a kick in actual play or a hand pass, but he's kept his opponent in Clinton Browning under wraps, and Browning's only had 1 kick for a goal. Of the others, Jones is playing well deep in defence with 3 marks and 3 hand passes. Sparks has had 2 kicks. Bryce has had a kick, but the whole Subiaco defence has worked pretty well as a unit.
Now, what about the rest in the forward line, Ken?
For Subiaco on the forward line, well, another player I forgot in the back line, Brian Taylor, of course, in the back pocket, 5 kicks. In the forward line, Glenn Hutchison, he's had a couple of kicks for Subiaco and 4 effective hand passes. Neil Taylor playing on the ball, and in attack, 3 kicks and 2 hand passes. Mick Lee has done well with 2 marks, 4 kicks and 5 effective hand passes, and he's been a very busy player. And of the others, Heady at full forward or in a forward pocket, he's had 3 kicks and has kicked 2 goals. He's also made 2 effective hand passes. For East Fremantle, George, Wolf has had 3 kicks. He's made 6 effective ruck knockouts and 2 effective hand passes, and he's done well. Sturrott's had 3 kicks. Browning's only had 1 kick. Christie's only had 2. Little's had 3. Cooper's had 1 only. O'Sullivan in defence has only had 1 kick. Ellis has had 3. Rankin has battled hard for his 4 kick. Edgar's also battled hard for his 3 kicks. Jenkins at centre half forward 2. Peake has only had 1. Lester Smith's only had 1. And Colin Waterson's only had 2 kicks, both resulting in points.
Yes, East Fremantle need a lot of players to get into the game, Keith, and you know, some of them up to this point have really been passengers.
Yes, they have. I thought Wolf showed a good spirit to fight very strongly against enormous sides. Laurie Keane, of course, in top form. I thought he did fairly well when Cocker came onto the ball. He won a few hit-outs at the advantage to East Fremantle, but the East Fremantle centre line has got to lift and lift very smartly, because they are getting walloped, and of course when your centre line is getting walloped in any game of football, then you are in trouble. But generally, I said during commentary that I thought East Fremantle's reflexes compared to Subiaco's were slow, and we saw time and again that the Subiaco players were able to anticipate where the ball was going, especially off hands in marking contests. They were always the ones at the fall of the ball, 1, 2, 3 of them, and I think it was 2 or 3 times during that quarter we saw Mick Lee read the ball beautifully, use handball very astutely, and to set up goals on that outer side for Subiaco. But generally, Subiaco's desire, their ball handling, their disposal, far superior to that of East Fremantle. Now, East Fremantle have got to reach that standard, otherwise Subiaco, with the breeze in this quarter, could have this game very well parcelled up by half-time.
Now, the little genius is right in the middle there, that Subiaco huddle, Hayden Bunton. What a master coach he is, Keith.
Yes, and I just wonder how he's going to get himself into the underdog situation next week if he wins this game today. He operates magnificently when he is the underdog, and today he's come into this game very much the underdog. I think most people expected East Fremantle to play very well, but he's produced the goods again. He's got his players in the right position, and one wouldn't have thought they were in the right position, but when you look at the performance of Breeman at centre half back and Heady at full forward, then you realise that he knows exactly what he's about.
On ABC Radio this morning, we're talking about generation gap. Hayden Bunton certainly doesn't have a generation gap. He's one of the boys, isn't he? Looks like one of the boys.
Yes, and I reckon he'd be nearly as fit as those guys out there too. He runs 14 kilometres a day still. He's a very fit man indeed, and he'd be just 50 now, I think. George had his 50th birthday earlier in the year, so he doesn't let any generation gap come between him and his players. He's been around a long time. There's not a more experienced coach in Australia today, and it shows, doesn't it?
Well, we're about to go into the second quarter, just waiting for the siren. Umpire O'Reilly has the ball. Subiaco 8-2, leading East Fremantle 2-4. Second quarter about to get underway. The lead is 34 points to Subiaco. Wolf is still on the ball. and he's going in against Keane. And it's even Stevens. Comes down to Christie. Stolen off him by Neil Taylor, but blocked by Christie. Goes to Sterrett. Blocked by Lee. Wolf now for East Fremantle. Now a chance for Cooper of East Fremantle. Right up towards full forward. Tapped down by Waterson. Knocked away by Sparks. In goes Subiaco through Brian Taylor. And Quill takes a very good mark, dropping back behind Carpenter. Quill going for the lead onto the half-forward line to Cooper. Cooper infield to Edgar. Edgar from 55 metres. Long kick up to full forward. Browning from behind. Taps it down, but missed by Peake. This is Lester Smith. Hutchinson in there. Also Jones for Subiaco. And umpire Johnson calls for a bounce down. Left full forward pocket position, about 15 metres from the East Fremantle goals. They desperately need to get a sequence of goals early in this second quarter to get back into the game. Keane wins the knock, stolen by Peake. Peake plays it to Little. Little hook square in the forward line. Dargy in front, sport by Renstead. Keane, big fellow's playing a good game. He's got plenty of men to beat. Hand passes over towards Jones. Jones goes for the boundary. Breman wins the race to the ball. Lester Smith tackles. Browning, Lester Smith. Left foot shot by Lester Smith is hooked too far. One behind only. 2-5-17 East Fremantle. 8-2-50 to Subiaco.
And a little bit of inexperience coming through as far as Breman is concerned then. Not played in the back line a great deal. Should have taken the ball out of bounds, kept it in play, and had Lester Smith kicked accurately, he would have given away a goal.
Clint Brown looks for a lead. One offering from Dargy now on the far side.
And Renstead is Dargy's opponent. Renstead's been moved from centre onto a wing.
Dargy up towards the half-back flank. Confident kick. This is Carpenter. Carpenter goes for a long, booming kick with the breeze. Neil Taylor and Christie. Christie at the back. Misses the ball. It's missed by Georgiades. This allows Ellis in. Oh, but Georgiades favoured by the bounce. But look at Ellis going after it. But Georgiades gets it out to Hutchison. Neil Taylor from 50 metres goes for the pass. Heady drops the mark. This is Cooper for East Fremantle. Waterman now. And the Sharks out of defence. Up onto the wing. Edgar sandwich. Brilliant mark. Great mark by Edgar.
Well, that's the mark of the day, no doubt about that. He's been a good player, Edgar. And look, that's an absolute gem. An absolute gem over the top of Carpenter.
Now Hutchison's taken the mark for Subiaco. Over Bryce's head. Quill.
Played.
Little for East Fremantle. Goes towards centre half forward. Renstead, he looks like he means business now. Into the pocket, Browning. Browning about 30 metres from goal. 45-degree angle.
Very promising young player, Little. I like the look of him. He takes the punt on occasion, gets up in front of the play, and you've got to have a couple of players on your side that does that. And you saw the class of Renstead then. Very good vision. Instead of going long, you saw Browning all by himself.
Browning's kicked one goal. Drop punt, not a bad kick. It's close, it's a goal. East Fremantle moved to 3-5, 23. Subiaco 8-2, 50.
Yes, well, East Fremantle cashing in on the Subiaco mistake. But I thought they showed a lot more composure than East Fremantle. Of course, Renstead is that type of player. When he does get the ball in an advantageous position, he certainly knows how to use it well. And he sorted Browning out. Browning thought of playing on for a minute. And I think he did what Renstead should have done last week in Melbourne. Went back and had his shot.
Promising start to the second quarter by East Fremantle. Some of their players look a bit more revved up in this second quarter. Wolf and Keane. Keane wins a big one towards centre half forward. Knocked on by Georgiades to Hutchison. McDougall for Subiaco.
Oh, who too?
Oh, into the forward pocket. They've made one or two errors now in the second quarter. Quill's got the football for East Fremantle. Kick smothered. Lucky break for Subiaco. He comes into McDougall. He fires on goal. Into an open goal. It bounces through. 4 points. East Fremantle left the goal square unguarded. And Subiaco moved to 9-2, 56. East Fremantle 3-5, 23.
Well, he's a freak, McDougall. He's a freak goal kicker. And from well out, he's well, that's the other side of 50 metres. And just dropped it onto his boot. And really, he has got uncanny goal sense. And what a goal. What a steadier for Subiaco. East Fremantle were looking like getting back into the game. McDougall's kicked a goal.
Riley has the football in the middle. Keane won the last ruck knock quite comprehensively against Wolf. Wolf used his body this time, and that's good play by the ruckman. Strong football, gets it out to the half-forward flank, but Bryce takes the mark in front of Little. Now Subiaco look like they might crisscross the football. Now he goes into the middle to McDougall. He's burnt in the middle of the ground. Goes for the torpedo, but it goes off the side of the boot. Waterman can't take the mark. Tapped out by Rankin, missed by O'Sullivan. Heady's got it for Subiaco. Across the face of goal, it goes a touch ball. Georgiades, no, it's not a touch ball. The mark is paid, and he's well and truly within scoring distance.
Well, there's a little bit of luck going Subi's way. That ball slipping off the outside edge of Heady's foot and lobbing in the arms of John Georgiades. Possibly the best kick for goal on the Subi side.
Georgiades going for his fourth. Drop punt is hooked. One behind only. They're making errors now, Subiaco. By the same token, they're 9-3-57. East Fremantle 3-5-23. In the match in Melbourne, in the second semi-final of WAFL, Hawthorn defeated Carlton 9-12 to 6-9. Sullivan's kick comes onto the member's side. Oh, nice mark by Edgar. Over the top of McDougall towards Cooper. Cooper goes towards centre half forward, kicking to position. Ellis now, 45 metres from goal, on the left foot. Offline, one behind only. He had plenty of time to get onto the right foot, Shane Ellis, I thought.
Yes, he showed a bit of pace then, Shane. He ran away from them.
He has got a bit of dash, hasn't he, Keith?
Yes, yeah, he gave himself a bit of room then, but used the wrong foot, I thought.
Clint Brown to himself. It's 3-6 East Fremantle, trailing Subiaco 9-3. Nice play by Brown to Bremen. Bremen, a long kick, look at that, with the breeze. Up onto the centre line. McDougall couldn't knock it away. This is Waterman. Waterman now punts up to full forward. Knocked away by Jones. This is Renstead. This is Peake. Oh, he fumbles. Would have been a certain goal. Subiaco get it out now to Clint Brown. It was a good knock away by Bremen. Out to Bryce. Bryce up onto the wing. Out in front of Carpenter. That's the way to kick the football. And also Neil Taylor. But beating them to it is Cooper. Cooper outnumbered. Jennings has got it for Subiaco. Now Wolf's got to go in and do the hard work again. Good tackle. East Fremantle pulled over, but a hand pass goes out from Quill to Wolf. Wolf to centre half forward. Peake doesn't fumble this time. Ball goes to Rankin. Rankin up to full forward. Lester Smith in front. Clint Brown's got the football. Sparks now. Browning to beat. And he kept him under pressure, Browning, and the umpire says throw the ball in.
Now, unlike Bremen, he has played a lot of his football in the back line, Kevin Sparks, and he knew exactly what he was about. Then he knew what he had to do. He did it superbly.
Keane against Waterson in the ruck, and from behind Rowland. Ball goes down to Lester Smith. Wide angle, across the face of goal, out of bounds on the full.
No, it didn't go on the full, George.
I didn't.
Half volley. Bounced in front.
Oh, bounced in front and a throw in the right full forward pocket.
East Fremantle still a chance to kick this goal.
They need it. Subi 9-3, East Fremantle 3-6. Knockout by Keane. And through comes Edgar. Oh, that's a shocker. He's kicked about 180 degrees away from the goals. Yeah, well, 90 degrees anyway.
He's been a real goal for East Fremantle by the same token. He's taken the mark of the day, and just a little bit of lack of concentration. Then he had to do it all quickly, and it all went wrong.
Brian Taylor's got the football.
Gee, that's confidence.
Yeah, he kicks it up infield. Georgiades misses the mark. Shane Ellis drops back. Renstead was too slow to shepherd for him, but now he shepherds, but lets McDougall come through. Hutchison. Georgiades. Oh, he missed a high tackle from Renstead. Good football by Georgiades. In towards centre half forward. The target, Cocker, drops back. Now it's a race on. Heady and O'Sullivan. Still Heady, knocked away by O'Sullivan. A desperate plunge there by O'Sullivan.
There was a bit of interference when unnoticed up there, but two Subiaco forwards were interfered with from behind.
There's a lone boot down there on the ground. Someone's lost a boot. Durax knocks a good one to Waterman. I think Cocker's lost his boot. Waterman boots it up onto the wing, straight to Laurie Keane. Subiaco will go deep into attack. Kicking with the breeze. Nice kick, magnificent torpedo by Keane. And the mark to Heady. Collides with the point post, but he's taken the mark. He's outplayed O'Sullivan on a breakdown there.
Well, That's quite incredible what can happen in finals football. And Eddie, a lot shorter man than O'Sullivan, and he pulled in the lovely 60-metre spiral torpedo by Laurie Keane.
He's kicked 2 goals, Brett Heady. This is a difficult shot. He improves his angle slightly, blasts on goal and kicks a goal. The 10th for Subiaco, 10-3, 63. East Fremantle 3-6, 24.
Well, they can do no wrong, Subiaco. They've made a few mistakes in ball handling this quarter, but he was almost nonchalant about that. Just ran around easily onto the right boot and just popped it through. And he looked like he expected to do it. And of course, he was right on the boundary line. So East Fremantle, a lot of work to do. A lot of footy left in the game, but East Fremantle got to do most of it to win it.
Wolf against Keane in the middle. Keane outreaches him, hits at the Cooper of East Fremantle. Peake gets in front here, and from the side, Bremen takes the mark. Peake looks at the umpire and says, what about the free kick? Bremen kicks the torpedo down the outer side, and Waterman takes a very good mark for East Fremantle.
Now playing as a half-back, Chris Waterman.
Now, surely that's 50 metres against Georgiades. No. Now Rankin's got it. Hutchinson for Subiaco gets the ball out in front of Carpenter. Carpenter gets bumped off the kick, drops a bit short, knocked down from Jennings. Waterman goes in, but now it's Cooper. This is Ellis for East Fremantle. And the mark on the far side to Quill. Peake misses the mark, deflected away from him by Bremen, by Hutchinson. Hutchinson hugs the boundary. Neil Taylor takes the mark, right on the line. Taylor infield. Christie says thank you very much as he dropped back behind McDougall. I think he's playing in the middle now, George Christie. East Fremantle skipper. Hand pass to Renstead. Renstead to centre half forward. Oh, good mark, Edgar. That's the second good mark he's taken in this quarter. East Fremantle need a goal. They're trailing badly, 24 points to 63. Up to full forward. Knocked down by Jones. This is Browning. Browning with a left foot. Good pass. Oh, yes, and that's a mark to East Fremantle right in front of goal. And this is Rowland. And he's a pretty good kick. He shouldn't have much trouble from there.
Given his opportunities today, Browning hasn't done badly, has he? He's kicked 2 goals, and that was a very classy piece of play. Swooping onto his left foot, just chipped it in very neatly for Rowland.
And he kicked East Fremantle's 4th goal to the Subiaco end of the ground. Drop punt, close to the goal post. Crikey, there's not much in this, but it's full points. East Fremantle 4-6-30. Subiaco 10-3, 63.
Yes, and playing in the full forward line, Clint Browning has kicked 2 goals. He set up another one, and he's one East Fremantle player that looks to be in good form. And East Fremantle just starting to look a little better now. They have Ellis in defence, Waterman in defence. And that has tightened up their defence a little. Renstead is starting to get a few kicks on his wing. And Edgar starting to play well, or he's played well right through.
13-minute mark of the second quarter of the preliminary final, coming to you through ABC television throughout Western Australia. Ellis's hand pass finds Sterrett. East Fremantle go back into attack towards Peake, but jumping in front is Hutchinson to intercept with a fine mark. He's a good footballer, Hutchinson. This is the lad that travels back here every week from the eastern states. East Fremantle bullocking it clear to Edgar. Gets it out wide to Quill. Quill looks good as he comes through the half-forward line. Shook off a high tackle. Rowland and Bremen. Now pushed out again by Quill of East Fremantle, but plenty of Subiaco men there. Lee is caught, coming through. Browning. Browning fires from 30 metres. Good kick by Browning. No mistake there. And East Fremantle have looked a lot better in the second term. They're 5-6-36. Subiaco 10-3, 63.
Yep, and East Fremantle is starting to claw their way back into the game. And they've been assisted by some very accurate kicking. And there we see Subiaco trying to come away through Lee. This is Clint Browning. We mentioned him a few minutes ago to be in good form. And he wrenched his way through the tackle. And another very confident shot at goal. So he's kicked 3 of East Fremantle's 5. He set up the other one. And he's been their best forward, no doubt about that.
Umpire O'Reilly to restart the game in the middle. 14.5-minute mark of the second quarter. Laurie Keane and Wolf. Good play by Wolf. He bumped Keane away from the ball. Oh, East Fremantle through Renstead. Edgar. Edgar, the defensive hand pass to Wolf. He's doing a lot of work around the ground, Wolf. Gives it over to Renstead. Cooper for East Fremantle. Up towards full forward. Waterson's got his number written on this one. The umpire says play on. And it back paddle to Lester Smith. The high kick's offline. And that's out on the full. The free kick back into play to be taken by Clint Brown.
Well, that's pretty ordinary football by Colin Waterson. He ducked his head very badly. He should have wrapped that up and kicked the goal.
Brown with a high kick to the half-back flank. Jones, the target, takes the mark on to Bryce. Bryce with a 35-metre hand pass. Ellis can't afford to mess this up, and he's done it brilliantly. Right up to the forward pocket. Little takes the mark, 50 metres out from goal. Brilliant play by St Ellis.
Brilliant play. He took the chance.
Little towards Peak, and Peak marks behind Bryce. And East Fremantle have taken a little bit of a grip on the play now. But St Ellis couldn't afford the mistake. He was between two Subiaco players. Had he missed the ball, it would have been a goal to Subiaco.
Yeah, his timing was perfect. Experience came through, and didn't he use it beautifully to Little? Now
Peak kicks from 50 metres. Drop punt. Touch and go. It'll make the distance, but it's offline. One behind only. 5-7-37 East Fremantle. Trail Subiaco 10-3-63. Suddenly we've got a very good game on our hands, Keith.
Yep, and Peaky needs to lift his game. Otherwise he might be warming that bench, because he's been very disappointing so far.
That was his second kick.
Clint Brown kicks to the member's side. Straight to Renstead.
Not
played. It's Hutchinson. Bit unlucky not to get the mark, Renstead. Hutchinson kicks to centre-half forward. Ellis in front. Georgiades behind, and Georgiades marks. There's a loose man, but he decides to go for goal himself. Brilliant football. He left Cooper behind, takes the shot and kicks a goal for Subiaco. John Georgiades brings up his fourth goal. Subiaco 11-3, 69. East Fremantle 5-7-37.
Well, another costly error. We see Waterman drop an easy mark. Waterson drop an easy mark. Now we see Renstead take his eye off the ball. And Hutchinson, who played beautifully on Pete during the game so far, was able to get the ball clear. And Georgiades had a lot of options. He's a very clever player. He breaks the tackle from Cooper, and as usual, he's accurate. So Subi have all the answers at the moment, don't they?
Yes, they needed that goal to steady. O'Reilly making the bounce. Keane and Wolf. Oh, good play again by Wolf. He kept Keane away from the football, so he couldn't get the knock. And then he dives back on top of it. Now, that's good recovery by a big fella.
I reckon he might wear Keane down here. He's taking it right up to Keane. He's using everything he's got. Boots, knees, the whole lot. He's going straight into the big fella, every bounce down.
Now, once again, he's beaten him for the knock. Down to Renstead. Edgar for East Fremantle. Gets round Neil Taylor. Edgar goes up to centre-half forward. Oh, missed by Sparks. Little. Browning tackles. The umpire to bounce the ball. Umpire Johnson. That was a terrific knock out of the middle by Wolf to Renstead.
Yeah, he's starting to really get into this game.
He looks tired. He looks tired, Wolf. He's got his hands on his hips. Knocked out by Waterson. Play on, says the umpire. Now it's East Fremantle with the ball, and a free kick to East Fremantle right in front. Sterrett's got the football.
Yeah. And I reckon Wolf has got a lot of petrol in the tank, George.
Yes, he looks like that all the time, but he keeps on going and going and going, doesn't he?
Yeah, I like the way he goes about his work.
He's had a heavy work rate in the game, hasn't he, Keith?
Yeah, he just he put a lot into that last centre bounce down, and he's just recovering a little now.
He's a champion. He's only playing his third game. Now Roland will take the shot at goal for East Fremantle. He's a pretty good kick. He makes no mistakes. The Sharks needed that goal, and this match is not over yet. Subiaco 11-3-69. East Fremantle 6-7-43.
Yep.
Now, you're a famous ruckman and a great ruckman, Keith. What do you think of Wolf?
I like him. I like leaping ruckman, and I like his spirit. Now, that's the thing I like about him. He started off the day under terrific pressure. He had Laurie Keane, I've said, the second best ruckman in Australia, to combat. He's playing his third game of league footy. And I reckon Keane's gone off the ball now, and I reckon this young guy was just starting to wear him down. He really was very vigorous in his approach.
Now, Cocker's in the ruck for Subiaco, number 1, against Wolf. That's a crooked bounce, and the whistle is gone. It's a centre square infringement, and Subiaco get a free kick.
Yeah, I think Waterman went over the mark then.
Now, Neil Taylor will take the free.
The rule is that the ruckman takes the free for centre square infringements.
Yeah. Cocker ran away from that one.
Well, he should be called back.
He should be. By umpire O'Reilly. Anyway, it's only a technical one. Kick to centre-half forward. Knocked away from Keane. By Durack. Free kick to Keane for a high tackle. That's gone against George Christie. Now, Laurie Keane's within scoring distance here. If he gets onto a massive torpedo punt, he'll kick from 55 metres.
I reckon he'll make the distance. is a very long kicker of the football, and he's put in a big effort, hasn't he, George? Obviously, Hayden Button's got him in the right frame of mind. There he is. He's fighting like a lion. I was going to say a tiger, but certainly like a lion. He's got the ball. Through he goes, and the careless tackle from Renstead.
There's the kick. It's a drop punt. It's a big kick by Keane. It's got the distance, but it's gone just the wrong side of the goal post. Didn't allow enough for the breeze, which is coming from a southwesterly direction diagonally across the field. Subiaco 11-4-70, East Fremantle 6-7-43.
Roland playing centre half forward, now opposed by Bremen.
Renstead was the player who gave the free kick to Keane. Now the kick-off, Keane knocks it away, favours Quill. Quill's come a bit into the game in the second quarter, puts it out in front of Rankin. Gets a good bounce on that outer wing position, Rankin. East Fremantle are deep in attack now. Oh, there was a player missed on the far side. And what's happened here? It's a mark to East Fremantle on the 50-metre line, but I was watching that player, Roland. He just missed the Subiaco player on the outer side.
Neil Lester-Smith, the man in the air, takes the mark.
Yeah, good mark.
And he's got a whack in the eye, I'd suggest.
Yep. Got a bit of treatment there. There's no big pardons in the game. Now, Lester-Smith normally converts his opportunities in the forward line. He's yet to get a goal in this match. I think he's had about 3 or 4 shots, and I don't think he's brought up he's brought up one behind, I think.
Point.
He's a bit far out, 55 metres, so he strives for distance. It drops short. Subiaco dropped the mark down there in defence through Bremen. Waterson's got it, scrambles it out. Renstead a hand pass to Peake. Peake's left foot snap, drops short. And it's dribbled through for one behind, off the pack. 6-8-44, East Fremantle. Subiaco 11-4-70. This is vital now, this part of the game. We're approaching the 22-minute mark of the second quarter. McDougall kicks out. That's unusual for a centreman to kick out. Cocker the target with Durack out there. This is Quill. And he's booted it out of bounds. A touch ball off his boot that's going to be thrown in. The difference only 26 points, Keith. If East Fremantle get another goal or two before half-time, we're in for a clinker of a match.
Yep.
Cocker wins the knock. Shark by Sterrett. Up into the forward pocket. Waterson. Now Jones for Subiaco. Brian Taylor. Lester-Smith there. And it's going to be thrown in. 35 metres from East Fremantle's goals. Cocker, number 1. Durack, number 50. Durack wins it for East Fremantle. Little, a chance, 15 metres out, a goal to East Fremantle. Brilliant football from Durack's knock. 7-8-50 to East Fremantle. 11-4-70 to Subiaco. 2 goals to Michael Little.
Yep, and he's ever the opportunist, beginning to make his mark in league football. And I like the way he confidently kicks at goal. He doesn't just try and thread them through. He kicks right through the line of the ball, and it's a good, confident shot at goal. Now, East Fremantle has come back very strongly in this quarter. They've kicked 5 goals to 3, and they've looked better. Their ball handling's better, their desire is greater, and hence Wolf is starting to do very well in the ruck.
Did I say from Durack's knock? I meant from Waterson's knock onto him. There's Cooper winning a ruck knock. Dargy gets a hand pass. He hasn't been in the game at all in the second quarter. Dargy, the ball stolen by Roland. Over to Edgar. Edgar up to full forward. And Waterson this time has taken the mark 40 metres out from goal.
Yeah, and that was a great tackle by Eric Cooper. Subi were the ones in possession. They looked like going forward. But Cooper and then Quill put great tackles on the middle of the ground. And Waterson should make a better fist of this than he might have won in the first quarter.
The difference 20 points at the moment. Waterson kicks it high. It's off the side a bit. Whoa, Browning's taken a great mark. He launched himself from behind the point line and he's taken a screamer.
We've seen some great marks. He was number 2 in line. He's taken it on his chest, what's more.
Well, he just lunged at it. Now he goes round, improves his angle. Hooks on goal. Close. I think it'll be a goal. No, he's just missed it. So, plenty of excitement here for a crowd of about 12,000. East Fremantle 7-9-51, Subiaco 11-4-70, and East Fremantle are kicking into the breeze.
Yeah, it's quite incredible that most of the scoring has been done into the breeze. But George, I reckon that crowd has swelled, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're close to 15,000 here now. Definitely swelled from just before the game as Bremen kicks in, and of course he's a good kicker of the football, a long kicker of the football, and that's what he should do with it.
Bremen goes down the middle of the field towards Hutchison, and Waterman outmarks him. Hutchison claims the free kick, but the umpire says no, he was going for the ball, Waterman. Waterman with the drop punt up to full forward. Waterson's behind. The ball knocked away by Jones. In goes Wenstead. Grabbed without it by Dargie. Wenstead gets it to Sterrett. With him, Brian Taylor. Sterrett's kick away. And it's against East Fremantle. Brian Taylor gets the free.
That's a terrible decision. I think David Johnson would like to take that one back too.
Taylor kicks up onto the member side. Hutchison in front takes the mark for Subiaco. What, he penalised Sterrett for holding the ball, did he?
Yes.
Yes.
Up onto the wing, Dargie. Subiaco rebounding the ball out of defence. 25.5 minutes into the quarter, 30 seconds into time on. To centre-half forward, Cooper knocks the ball away. This is Edgar. Oh, nicely done to Rankin. Rankin loads up a short pass to Bomber Pope. East Fremantle searching for that extra goal before half-time. Up towards Browning, and he takes the mark. He rode the bump there from that Subiaco defender. Browning goes across goal towards Waterson. Jones from behind, but Waterson takes the mark. Dangerous signs, ominous signs for Subiaco. These big forwards coming into their own now for East Fremantle.
Yes, and that was good play by Browning. Browning been in great form. In fact, very close to East Fremantle's best player, Browning. He's certainly been their best forward.
Now Waterson taking the shot. Another shocker. That's the second in a row. Oh, and East Fremantle mark it from behind the boundary line, but the umpire says it was out before it was marked by Rowland. The kick taken by Subiaco towards Dargie, but the mark to Edgar. Now Edgar's playing half-back flank, and he's marked the ball in the left full forward pocket.
Well, you never know where players are playing these days, George, and they follow the line of the ball, they follow their players.
Well, Bunce obviously moved an extra man into defence. That's why he's come down there. Edgar fires from 40 metres, hooks the ball out on the full. Subiaco are a bit fortunate in the last few minutes. And the kick back into play will be taken by who's that?
Kemp on the field.
Kemp, yes, Kemp. Up onto the half-back flank. Now East Fremantle got a free to Quill for being held when the ball was more than 5 metres away. Into centre-half forward, over Sterrett's head. Lee is there to knock it away for Subiaco. Gets bumped by Renstead. Now Sterrett's got a chance. Christie for East Fremantle. Kicks into Lee. Laurie Keane.
Played.
Neil Taylor. Bremen.
Played.
McDougall to the half-forward line. Subiaco in front through Hutchison. No, it's Cox. Cox kicks to centre-half forward. Quill misses the football. That's a bad mistake. Cocker for Subiaco. 50 metres out, goes on goal, headies by himself. Can't hold the mark. The ball hits the post, but he touched it anyway. And Subiaco get it behind.
Brown coming on and Kemp going off. I didn't realise Clint Brown was off the field. He's got that knee very heavily bandaged.
Jones is the player that's come off as O'Sullivan kicks in. 11-5 Subiaco, 7-9 East Fremantle. Subiaco hook infield to Keane. Durack is playing man-to-man on Keane at the moment. Keane's torpedo in towards centre-half forward. Ellis behind, knocks it away from Georgiades. This is Cox for Subiaco. Goes for a pass across goal. Neil Taylor waited for that one. Hutchison shepherds for him. Neil Taylor from 25 metres takes the shot. Offline, behind only. He messed that up, Neil Taylor. Subiaco 11-6-72. East Fremantle 7-9-51.
I thought Hutchison played absolutely superbly then. He gave Neil Taylor the run of the ball. He made a very quick decision to shepherd. He did it very effectively, and had Neil Taylor kicked accurately, that would have been another one.
O'Sullivan kicks in. Nearly the 29-minute mark of the quarter, and Sterrett takes a strong mark for East Fremantle. The Sharks need another goal before half-time. The difference is 21 points in favour of Subiaco. Sterrett sees a lead offering, and Rowland knocked away by Bremen, tapped back by Christie, then by Rowland. Cooper. And it's out of play. On the left centre wing, that was Edgar. On the left centre wing for East Fremantle. Now it's Durack who's giving Wolf a spell, playing against Keane here at the throw-in. Keane wins it to Cox. Up to centre-half forward. Georgiades and outside. Terrific mark. And he breaks away from Georgiades, draws Lee, fires the ball over, and Rankin boots it up to full forward. Browning waits for it, missed by Sparks. Hand pass goes to Ellis. The umpire sees a free kick to East Fremantle. I think Little was held without the ball. And Michael Little's got the free, and that free kick's against Hutchinson.
I think he paid the throw, George. I think he said Hutchinson attempted a hand pass and threw it.
Yep.
Anyway, he's penalised Hutchinson. Mike Lee fires at goal. He hooks it. The kicking has been atrocious. Out of bounds on the full, and Subiaco get the free kick back into play.
Well, I reckon East Fremantle have missed 5 goals to that left-hand side. Waterson has kicked 2 out there, and now we've seen Little. And before him, who was the one before him? There's about 3 or 4 balls in a row have gone out that side.
Clint Brown, long kick onto the half-back flank. Time running out for East Fremantle to score a goal as Durack knocks it down, and there's the siren for half-time. They missed a golden opportunity, East Fremantle, just before the siren. The half-time score is Subiaco 11-6-72. East Fremantle 7-9, and that's 50. Quarter East Fremantle kicked 5-4, and Subiaco kicked 3-4. Goal scorers for Subiaco: Georgiades 4, Heady 3, and 1 goal each to Neil Taylor, McDougall, Dargy and Hutchison. And for East Fremantle, 3 to Browning, 2 goals each to Rowland and Little. Well, in about a minute, can you wrap up what happened in the first half there, Keith?
Well, it was a half that East Fremantle would rather forget, certainly the first quarter. Where East Fremantle were just nonplussed by the desire by Subiaco, the clean ball handling, the accurate disposal, and the goal kicking. An 8-2 to 2-4 at quarter time was a just reward for Subiaco, who had played superbly. East Fremantle made a few changes in the second quarter, with Ellis going to centre half back, Waterman went into defence, Renstead went out onto a wing, Roller went to centre half forward. But above all those moves, their desire and their ball handling improved, and they took the game right up to Subiaco. And I would say, George, had they kicked accurately in that quarter, remember they were kicking into the breeze, then they could have been right up alongside Subiaco. 11-6 to 7-9, they trailed by 21 points. I would say they missed a good 3 or 4 goals that maybe they should have made, and the main man who missed the goals was Colin Waterson, usually a magnificent kick at goal. He just couldn't get his kick going today, a goal into the breeze. Looking at good players for East Fremantle, I thought Browning, Edgar, Wolf, Rankin, Ellis, Little and Waterman were all good players for them. And for Subiaco, the left-footers, Georgiades and McDougall, I thought were magnificent. Keane, another left-footer. Carpenter, another left-footer. Breeman and Heady. But a good game of footy, and I think, George, a bit more footy left in this game yet.
Yes, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes for a continuation of our coverage, the statistics, and a look at the third quarter of play. Hope you're enjoying this telecast through ABC television throughout Western Australia. In the meantime, we're standing by for another one of our episodes, American Sports Cavalcade. Well, the Little League game has just finished, and we're waiting for the players to come back onto the field for the third quarter of the preliminary final between East Fremantle and Subiaco. The half-time score, Subiaco 11 goals, 6-72, leading East Fremantle 7-9, 51. The margin is 21 points. Georgiades has kicked 4 goals for Subiaco, and Heady 3. Heady playing at full forward. Georgiades at centre-half forward, and for East Fremantle, Browning playing up there at forward pocket has kicked 3 goals, Rowland 2. And Michael Little 2. The game pretty much in the balance after Subiaco looks set for a runaway win at quarter time. Ken Casellas is with us. Ken, can you give us a rundown of the leading kick getters on the field up to this point of time?
Yes, thanks, George. Well, it's interesting to note that the couple of the leading kick getters in Georgiades and McDougall at Subiaco had far better first quarters than they did in the perform in the second quarters. But the leading kick getter up to half-time is John Georgiades, the Subiaco centre-half forward. 4 marks, 11 kicks and 1 effective hand pass, and he completely outclassed John Deracourt in the first 15 minutes of the match. But since then, Shane Ellis has done a fairly sound job on John Georgiades. Edgar, playing strongly as a half-back flanker, running down the field for East Fremantle, has picked up 10 kicks. But one criticism of Edgar's game is that of his 10 kicks, only 2 have gone to a teammate, and he's kicked the ball out of bounds on the full twice. So that's told against Edgar's overall performance. McDougall in the centre started off with a 7-kick first quarter. He had 3 more kicks in the second quarter when he was opposed initially by Cooper for a few moments and then by George Christie. Then we see Quill, who started off playing as a half-forward flanker for the first few minutes of the game. Then he went to a wing, and he had an exceptionally good second quarter, Quill. We're picking up 7 kicks after 2 kicks in the first quarter, and his half-time tally is 9. David Rankin, the East Fremantle back pocket player, has been a good rebounding player for the Sharks, and he's come out strongly from defence with his 9 kicks. And Chris Waterman, he's come into the game strongly with 4 kicks in the first quarter, 4 in the second quarter, and Waterman has battled hard for East Fremantle. Brian Taylor Last week it was noticeable that Brian Taylor spent most of his time running on the ball, but so far Hayden Bunton has been able to leave Brian Taylor in a back pocket today, and he's been a tower of strength once again with his 8 kicks, 5 in the first quarter, 8 in the second quarter. And one of the surprises of the game is the performance of Todd Breman, the league's leading goal kicker, who was moved to centre half back today in a masterstroke by Hayden Bunton, and he's been a dominant player with 3 marks, 7 kicks and 4 effective hand passes. Laurie Keene's picked up 7 kicks, 3 effective hand passes, 2 marks, and he's also made 7 effective ruck knockouts. Carpenter, the Subiaco captain, on a wing, he had 5 kicks in the first quarter. He was kept more quiet in the second quarter when he had 2 more when he was opposed to Peter Quill. Little's been a busy player up forward for East Fremantle with his 7 kicks, including a couple of goals, and Neil Taylor, the veteran Subiaco player, has also had 7 kicks. Free kicks at half-time, George. Subiaco have received 12, and East Fremantle have had 9 free kicks, so it's 12-9 at half-time.
Ken Casillas there contributing the statistics on the players up to half-time in this preliminary final. No sign of the teams coming back onto the field. Crowd did swell during the early part of the play from about 11,000 when the ball was bounced down, and Keith Slater may well be right that there's about 14 or 15,000 here at the moment, but we certainly hope we get a lot bigger crowd to the grand final. Keith, I suppose there would be a bigger crowd if East Fremantle played Claremont in the grand final than there would be if Subiaco played Claremont.
Well, one would hope that the grand final is well attended, George. Attendances over the last 2 years have been well down, and it's been disappointing. I thought the first semi-final crowd was excellent, 20,000, and I thought that contributed to the game. I thought it was an excellent game of football for 3 quarters, and it was great to see the crowd involvement in that game, and I fully anticipated that the crowds would grow bigger as we got deeper into the final round, but it hasn't been the case. There was, 11,000 here last week for the second semi-final, and today we would anticipate between 14 and 15,000, but that's still disappointing, George, because these two sides have proven very good contributors to the competition in season 1988, and one would have expected more people here. No real clash with Victorian football, no direct telecast. So the people have gone off West Australian football at this stage, and yet I think West Australian football has bounced back very strongly and is about back where it was before standard-wise, I would suggest.
Well, both teams are back on the field now. The umpires are out there, and only be a couple of minutes before the game restarts here. Umpires O'Reilly and Johnson have done a very good job in this match, and it's going to be difficult for umpire Vernon, who's had a fair bit of experience in the WAFL, to clinch a berth as an umpire in the grand final, Keith.
Yes, well, he's only a young man. Maybe he's got his best years in front of him, Grant Vernon, but generally during the season, I've said a couple of times, our umpiring has been disappointing, although today, very hard to criticise the umpiring today, George. It's a couple of mistakes, but generally the umpiring's been pretty good, and they've made a good contribution to the game. And we are starting now to get a few experienced umpires, and it's disappointing that the umpires have to do most of their grounding at league level and have to build up over a couple of seasons to become experienced. But we are getting some experienced umpires on our panel now. 2 of them here today, and David Johnston and Phil O'Reilly. Mike Ball, close to the best umpire in the state, I suggest Mike Ball. He's got a nice way about him, and decisions are always controversial with most umpires and the crowd, but he seems to have a good way about him, Michael Ball. And yes, I'd agree that the Grant Vernon, he wouldn't be any certainty to get the grand final, let's put it that way. And of course he, Phil O'Reilly and Mike Ball are all on the VFL panel, so I would think it would be 2 of those 3 who would get the grand final.
Well, just looking at the East Fremantle side, and Wolf is not going to open up on the ball at the start of the third quarter. Are you surprised by that?
No, I'm not really.
He's going down in the back line, isn't he?
Well, yes. He's going down to play on Shane Cock. I'm not surprised, really, because Durack is a pretty reasonable ruckman in his own right, and he did put a big effort into that first half, young Wolf, and he might well be required if it's a tight last quarter.
Maybe I was right when I said he was tired. He looked very tired when I made that comment.
Yeah, so I think he can go on, though, George. He's a wiry character, and he's a young man.
He'll get his second win, Keith.
Yeah, but not a bad move by Graham Melrose. Maybe it might not work out. Durack might not be up to it, but Wolf certainly took the ruck work right up to Laurie Keane, I thought.
Well, here we go for the third quarter in the preliminary final at Subiaco Oval, coming to you on ABC television. 11-6 Subiaco, 7-9 East Fremantle. Ruck knock won by Keane. Cooper's missed the ball on the ground, bumps over Neil Taylor. Quill steals the football out of the pack and drives the Sharks forward, but it's into open territory here. Now there's a sprint on between Breman from centre half back and Little, and Breman gets there first. Ball goes to Bryce. Oh, Bryce got bumped after delivering the football. Play on. In goes Hutchison for Subiaco to Lee. In goes Cooper, and Cooper gets the free kick for a trip. I think he gets it for a trip.
Yeah, he got a bit high, George.
And a bit high as well.
Yeah, he went in after the ball, genuinely after the ball, head down, and he was tackled around the head.
Eric Cooper, I think he comes from Geraldton, so I hope you're enjoying the telecast up there. He kicks wide, and Durack takes the mark.
Clune medal winner, it's Eric Cooper.
Now, Durack is about 65 metres from goal. Kicks high, inside centre-half forward, over the head of Browning. The bounce favours Waterson. Now Browning, he lets Lester Smith go for it. Lester Smith makes a bit of space, hooks back with the left foot and kicks a goal. That's Lester Smith all over. He was all at sea in the first half, and he's kicked a goal here in the first minute of play. His first goal. East Fremantle 8-9-57, Subiaco 11-6-72.
Yep, yeah, it's on, no doubt about that. And didn't the Subiaco defence give Lester Smith a lot of time and a lot of room to do that? I thought East Fremantle had made the wrong move. I thought Browning should have run straight through his football then and taken the ball. He gave way to Lester Smith, and it's all worked out right for them, and they are within 15 points of the Lions.
Durack in the ruck against Keane. This is Durack, number 50. Won by Keane, taken by Christie, up to centre-half forward. Bremen marks for Subiaco. Bremen comes out onto the member side. He's kicked the ball straight to Quill. Good mark by Quill on the left centre wing position. Little short pass. Rowland. Waterman. Waterman loads up for a big shot at goal. And the mark taken down there by Kemp. Now Kemp gets the chance to give the ball to Taylor. Taylor gets grabbed high by Lester Smith, and Brian Taylor gets the free in the right full-back pocket.
East Fremantle is sensing victory here, George. They're going in a lot harder.
They've got the use of the southwesterly, but it's more or less across the ground now. I think it's changed a little bit in direction by about 10 or 15 degrees. Durack's got control of the football. Christie shovels it out the path of Waterman. And it's knocked over the line by Brian Taylor for a boundary throw in 60 metres from the East Fremantle goals. I'm wondering whether the Subiaco stars of the first quarter can repeat their performance. McDougall, Georgiades and players like that. Larry Keane throws the ball away. Waterman dives in on it against him, McDougall. Now kicked out by Christie. Clint Brown for Subiaco. Robust, strong defence, gets out-fronted by Little. The ball goes to Waterson. And East Fremantle mark. Lester Smith, I think, right on the boundary line. Yes, Lester Smith. He's just the type of player that can kick a goal from there. 40 metres out. Difficult kick, but the breeze will bring the ball back on the goal opening. There goes his shot. Good try. It's a goal. A magnificent kick by Lester Smith for a left footer from that pocket. His second goal. And he's done this all his life. Come in at bursts like that. East Fremantle go to 9-9-63. Subiaco 11-6-72.
And Lester Smith has kicked 2 goals in this quarter, and that was an opportunist bit of play by Waterson. Colin Waterson keeping the ball in play and chipping it to Lester Smith, 1 metre inside the boundary, and he very neatly threaded it through.
First 2 goals in the third quarter to East Fremantle. Durack waits. Knocked one by Keane, sharked by Christie. The rebound goes towards Sterrett. And now it's Edgar. Edgar out wide. East Fremantle got to run on. This is Rankin. Darkey chasing him. Rankin keeps the front spot. Subiaco has dived onto the football, holding the ball. Peake gets the free. That was against Hutchinson. This is Sterrett. 40 metres out. Takes the shot. Oh, he's hooked it. One behind only. Should have been a goal.
Lester Smith
9-10-64. Subiaco 11-6-72.
Lester Smith all by himself near the point post. Looks back at Sterrett. Says, why not me again? Why not?
Clinton Brown to the member's side. Keane the target. Durack waiting for the punch away. Does it well. Good recovery by Keane. Oh, magnificent play out to Carpenter. Carpenter right down the wing. Neil Taylor here. Oh, Ellis goes into Neil Taylor and puts him down fairly. In goes Ellis again. Now it's Carpenter. Carpenter for Subiaco to the half-forward line. McDougall's in front. Knocked away by Christie. Playing strongly now, Christie. Cooper for East Fremantle. Christie. Ellis. Ellis slams it down the wing, but Laurie Keane is there. Needed all his height. Gets grabbed by Little. In goes Bryce. In goes Quill. East Fremantle playing for keeps. Infield to Sterrett. Sterrett goes over to Renstead. Renstead from the attacking edge of the square to full forward. Brown and Watterson. Watterson has taken the mark. Clint Brown appealing for the free, but the umpire says no. He had his eyes on the ball. And Watterson can kick a goal and make amends for the 2 mistakes he made in the third quarter.
There's Quill. Across to Sterrett, to Renstead. He goes long. Let's look for the interference if it's there or not. No, I think it was fair enough.
Watterson
put it
goes
through
and kicks a goal. Fremantle moved to 10-10-70. Subiaco 11-6, 72. Who's going to win the game now?
Well, Fremantle kicking with the breeze, but I thought that was good use of the body by Watterson. Jared Neesham having a good look at the game, and I wonder who he wants to win the game. He'd be very interested to see the vigour and the courage and the determination of Fremantle here. He would have been impressed by the sparkling start by Subiaco, and I don't think he'd care who he played here, one or the other.
Cox has come on. I think he'd want Subiaco to win it, Neesham, because Fremantle beat them in the last qualifying game in a very good game at Claremont Oval.
Yeah.
Neesham will play in the grand final.
Durack and Keane. Keane wins the knock. Knocked on by Jennings to Taylor. Intercepted by Ellis. Ellis goes long. He hooks that down the outer wing position. Lester Smith wins for a slide. The bounce favours Peake. Peake right up to full forward. Knocked away by Watterson. Now it's Kemp. Looks for Brown. Harassed by Browning. It's a free kick to Brown for a push in the back. Play on, says the umpire now. As Brown puts it up onto the wing, and Hutchison marks for Subiaco. Hutchison, a little short pass to Jennings. Jennings goes for Carpenter. Carpenter tries to get round Quill, hooks it up the half-forward line. Georgiades beaten by the bounce. Heady knocks it on. Cocker. Good tackle by Renstead. Good play by Renstead. Now O'Sullivan with a chance. Gets it up into the square. Good football to Cooper. Good shepherding by Rowland. Lets Cooper fire it up to Watterson at centre-half forward. In goes Lester Smith. There'll be a free kick here. Lester Smith gets it. He was going to recover first. The Subiaco player.
I'm not sure who was holding who.
But Sparks was holding onto him. Lester Smith was going to double back onto the ball, and the umpire has given a borderline decision in favour of Lester Smith. Now he can kick his third goal here, and we've only been playing 8 minutes in the quarter, but he's hooked the kick.
Slipped.
And is it a behind? Yes, it is. It's 10-11, East Fremantle 71, Subiaco 11-6, 72.
That was superbly played by John O'Sullivan, getting his jumper almost ripped from his back. Got a magnificent handball away to get Fremantle going forward. Gee, their peckers up now, Fremantle. They're really playing a very physical, determined game of footy. They've got the pressure right on Subiaco. Be interesting to see if they can rebound.
Brian Taylor kicks the ball in. Sterrett waits and wrestles and takes the mark. He was too strong for Jennings. Oh, he's played on now. The umpire calls him to play on. He got reported early in the quarter. Brilliant kick. And Clint Brown knocks it away. Lester Smith, goal. It's a goal to Lester Smith. Oh, he's dangerous round the goals when he starts firing. He can be absent for a month, but when he comes in, he can kick a bag full of goals in a few minutes.
Oh,
East Fremantle have hit the front.
Yep.
East Fremantle 11-11, Subiaco 11-6.
He kicked 3 goals in 8 minutes, has Lester Smith. There's the missed mark by Clint Brown. There's the opportunist, Lester Smith. Doesn't matter how you run it through one foot or the other. I wouldn't know whether he kicked the left or right foot, but it certainly come off one of them. And the tackle too late, Kevin Sparks, and East Fremantle have come from the clouds.
He's a remarkable footballer, Lester Smith.
Well, he did this last week.
Yes, he did. 2 weeks ago, Ken. Won by Keane. Look at East Fremantle go in through Quill. Now Cooper. And he gets the free kick. He played in front. He got the kick. Cooper towards the half-forward line. Sterrett's in the pack. Uses his body. Takes the mark. But the umpire penalises him for a push on Laurie Keane. Another big fellow gallops around and sends it long. Up the centre half-forward. Georgiades and Ellis. Good spoil by Ellis to Peake. Peake out wide now to Waterman. Waterman will steady it down. Darkey's overrun the mark. Very lucky not to give away 50. It goes into the middle. Ellis knocked away from him by
Play.
that player played up at full forward. Heady. Now Hutchison goes in on the tackle on Peake, but he didn't have the ball, and Peake gets the free.
Peake's doubled his aggregate here, I reckon, Ken, or more.
He certainly has. This is
Quadrupled
for the quarter.
Up the centre half forward. At the back, Sparks taps it out to Jennings. Gets grabbed by Renstead. Through goes Sterrett. Sterrett up ahead to Roland. Roland up ahead to Rankin. Rankin from 25 metres. Potts set at goal. Close. Offline. One behind. East Fremantle should be a lot further ahead. They've missed a lot of opportunities. 11-12 East Fremantle. 11-6 Subiaco.
Yep, and Rankin should have done better. He'd come right down to the back pocket, followed his man down, and within about 15 metres.
Clint Brown goes for Kemp.
Georgia, it should be said that that wind is pretty strong, and Subiaco are kicking into it, so East Fremantle will need a fair lead at three-quarter time.
This is Cooper up to full forward. Clint Brown.
Played.
Good smother. Good football by the fullback.
Pushing the back.
Out wide he goes to Neil Taylor. Taylor coming up the members' wing. Took a bit long. O'Sullivan's missed it. McDougall now Peake. O'Sullivan has gone a million from Taylor's tackle. Umpire says throw it in. He didn't have a grip on him, according to
I'm not sure whether I'm right or not, but I've got a feeling Peake is playing in the centre, Ken.
Yeah, I think he must be.
Yeah, playing on McDougall, I'd say, and he's lifted. Champions lift.
He's killed him in this quarter. Keane, no, it might have been Durack that knocked it down to Peake. Christie, he's lifted his rating by about 300%. Taylor and Sterrett, strong tackle by Sterrett. The umpire ruled the Subiaco player couldn't get rid of the football. And
He revved up Sterrett.
Well, he's gone probably. You know, he got reported in the first quarter. So he's got everything to win, nothing to lose. Laurie Keane's free. That's against Durack. Rather crude tackle on the ruckman.
I think McDougall's playing on the half-forward flank. I'm not sure who's in the centre for Subi.
No, he's been shifted, McDougall. Look at Keane. The footwork of Nureyev. And the umpire says, no, I've got to bounce the ball because you had a free kick and you didn't kick it, Laurie.
He's very foolish, Laurie Keane. He does some silly things at times.
Now, Durack will go for the knock with him. Keane wins a big one. That's a massive knock. Cooper's there for East Fremantle. Out it comes to Peake. He knows where to go on the football field. Peake up the centre half forward. Waterson in front. At the back, Lester Smith outplayed by Sparks. He missed one there, Sparks. Picked up by Christie. Left foot snap. Sterrett's down there. Can't handle it. Kemp's got it. In comes Waterson. Renstead. Offline. But the whistle is gone. East Fremantle's free to Waterson against Sparks. I think he might have showed a bit of resentment there, Sparks, and has given away the free.
Yeah, he tends to do that a little. He can be a little crude sometimes with his tackles.
Well, he was missed by a high tackle. He would have finished up in hospital and it connected, and then he's gone back in to remonstrate.
Cocker's coming off.
Cocker's coming off.
He hasn't been off the field many times this season. Jones going on.
Waterson shoots at goal. That's full points to East Fremantle. And they go further ahead, the Sharks. 12-12. That's 84. Subiaco 11-6-72.
East Fremantle have kicked 5 goals in 12 minutes. Lester Smith has kicked 3. Colin Waterson has kicked 2. Neither of them kicked a goal before half-time when East Fremantle blatantly missed about 5 easy ones into the breeze. But they have really got their packers up now. They're doing what Subiaco did in the first quarter, and they look almost irrepressible at the moment. They're absolutely dominating all over the field, East Fremantle.
No one's playing on Wolf at the moment. He's down in the back pocket. He's playing on himself. Although Bremen is now coming into the Subiaco forward line. Button's made a change. Keane wins the knock, hits the ball to McDougall. McDougall up to full forward. Down there is Cox, but good judgment by Rankin. Rankin can afford to have a look now. Kicks deep to Peake. Great player, Brian Peake.
Jones to centre half back, playing on Roland.
This is Waterman.
Bremen to full forward.
Back to Peake. Look at the bomber go. Kicks into the centre of the ground. Wide of Sterrett and Little. This is Brights for Subiaco, but Little's got pace, puts him under pressure. Oh, and that's out of the foot, I think.
I thought he kicked it when he was over the boundary line, so did Bryce.
He was definitely out of bounds before he kicked it.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, I saw the decision by the umpire. This is Quill. And now winning the race back, Browning keeps it in play. Kemp with him.
Play.
Carpenter for Subiaco.
Oh,
Kemp again. Keane. He got one on the back of the head, Keane. Jennings gets grabbed by Lester Smith, holding the man the decision. Jennings gets the free.
gee, they revved up East Fremantle. They're giving Subiaco no peace at all.
This is better than a VFL match at the moment, Keith.
Always has been.
Yeah, this is McDougall. Some of the football is really premiership stuff from East Fremantle, isn't it? McDougall up towards centre half forward. Georgiades and Ellison. O'Sullivan. heady for Subiaco. Up to full forward he goes, over Breeman's head. Knocked away brilliantly from behind by, I think, Derek Court. Now this is Georgiades. Now it's Roland who tackles Georgiades, but Cox marks, play on, touch ball. And holding the ball as a tackle gets applied by St. Ellis. Ellis goes wide, he looks for Peake and Cooper will take the line. Now look at Peake run up the outer side, Hutchison's chasing him, but Peake's too quick for him, and look at the experience of this man. What a great quarter he's having. Brian Peake onto Christie, the skipper of East Fremantle, 60 metres from goal. He goes for the distance. And it's shepherding, and it's bounced across the face of goal. Magnificent shepherding by Browning. One behind the result, 12-13-85 East Fremantle, 11-6-72 Subiaco.
I thought that was a very tough decision, that tackle on Paul Cox.
Should have bounced the ball, Keith.
Yeah, no risk about that.
Neil Taylor's taken the mark. Taylor down the member's side. Laurie Keane the target. He's got a few men to beat, but he taps the ball on. That's clever football, but no Subiaco men there. Quill for East Fremantle.
Good shepherd.
Hooks round the corner. Man's there. Sterrett. Sterrett knows what to do with the football. Puts it into centre half forward. Renstead's behind, and Subiaco mark through Dargie. Dargie goes wide to Clint Brown. Waterson chasing, but Brown's got a big start. Now he hooks back infield, hoping that Hutchinson can mark. Peake knocks it down. Goes to Lester Smith. Lester Smith towards Edgar. Edgar taps it on to accommodate Renstead. Renstead plays on to Little. Can Little pick it up? Bryce Whitting. Desperate football by Bryce. Holding the ball. No, pushing the box, says the umpire. East Fremantle's free kick to Little, about 20 metres out.
Yep, Kemp pushed him right in the middle of the back. Little had the ability to keep his body in front. And he reminds you of one of the Kickett boys, doesn't he?
There goes his shot. He's a pretty good kick normally, but he's missed this one. Off the side slightly. 12-14 East Fremantle 86. Subiaco 11-6-72. Subiaco in the game at the moment only because East Fremantle are missing goals.
Yes, they can't get the ball over their half-forward line at all. Such is the pressure being applied by East Fremantle.
Brown's kick comes onto the member's side. Durack and Keane. Cooper from behind. He should have waited for the crumbs, Cooper. This is Jennings who socketed out towards the boundary, and it's out of play. He was foolish to fly, Cooper, that time.
And Cooper and Wolf is back on the ball. I don't think he is, no. Durack's going to do the whole quarter. Wolf disappearing again back with the forward line.
Keane against Durack. Laurie Keane out to Neil Taylor. Subiaco got to do something in a hurry. Oh, East Fremantle all the way. Waterman kicks out onto the wing position. And the mark to Christie. Hasn't he played a good quarter along with Peake?
That shows you how non-plus Subiaco are at the moment. Young Bryce just stood there and let Christie take the mark. Never contested at all.
Christie goes for Waterson. Look at that. It's easy now.
And in this third quarter, George Christie's had 7 kicks and Brian Peake's had 6 kicks and 3 hand passes, and those two veterans have certainly risen to the occasion.
South Westerly's right behind this big fellow Waterson, who kicked very poorly in the second quarter, but now he's got 2 goals to his credit. Drop punt, he's hooked it. He's kicking, he's not on target at all today. It's gone, what, 3 for 1 behind. And that makes East Fremantle 12-15-87, Subiaco 11-6-72.
Just trying to pick up who's playing where. We thought Peake was playing in the centre. He's picked up Jennings at the moment. Dougal is being picked up by O'Sullivan, so players all over the place at the moment.
Well, Kemp's played onto himself out of the goal square, puts it right up onto the member's wing. Keane and Durack, and Keane will get the free. Durack was behind, now Laurie Keane wards him off, puts the football in his face, kicks it up the half-forward line. Look at Ellis, the strength. He knocks it away from Georgiades. Jennings is caught. Play on, says the umpire. Waterman down the member's wing, but Keane's in the way. The big fellow's played a pretty good game for Subiaco.
He's giving it everything he's got. No doubt about that.
Need some of the smaller men to come to the party. Here's Brian Taylor. Taylor kicks to the outer side. McDougall provides the lead and takes the mark in front of Christie. Wants to play on McDougall. Up into the forward pocket.
Oh, brilliant.
Georgiades, the mark is paid. And Georgiades is 25 metres from goal.
The stars of the first half at last in the third quarter. What a lovely pass going in from McDougall. And young Wolf is off the field.
And at last, Keith, as Clinton Wolf comes off the field, Subiaco have been forced to move Brian Taylor out of the back pocket and onto the ball, and that can only help Subiaco.
Yeah, and Clinton Wolf is holding his hip. George, when he had his hands on his hip earlier on, he might have been feeling a bit of pain there.
Well, I picked that something was amiss with him anyway, Keith. As Georgiades is shooting for his 5th goal. Drop punt, it's hooked a bit, and it's offline. One behind only. They needed a goal there, Subiaco. They're 11-7-73. East Fremantle 12-15-87.
And he couldn't miss anything in the first half. And now with the pressure on, John Georgiades has missed a pretty easy goal for him. By the same token, that breeze is very fresh indeed. He was kicking into it, and that's always a difficult assignment. East Fremantle have still got a quarter to go into the breeze.
O'Sullivan onto the outer side. Edgar's out there.
Great mark.
He's taken 3 clinker marks in this game so far. Short pass into the middle. Cox has missed it. He's backed up here by Carpenter. And this is Bryce. Over Dargie's head, but Brian Taylor takes the mark. The umpire doesn't pay it. Dargie's got the football now. And play on, says the umpire.
How he kicked that, I would never know.
Quill gets the football. 3 Fremantle. He's a skillful player. Up to the forward pocket. Browning and Sparks. Now Sparks has got the front spot and plays the ball to the boundary. That's the only thing he could do in that situation. That's 20 metres out from the East Fremantle goals.
I think, Ken, that the ball has only been over Subiaco's 50-metre line once in this quarter. Am I correct in that?
I'd say so, and they've scored 1 point for the quarter from that sortie.
Keane against Waterson in the ruck. And Jones from behind. Sparks has got it. And Lester Smith nearly had it. Now it's Bryce. Taylor for Subiaco. Brian Taylor up towards the centre of the ground. Hutchison in front. Spoiled here by Edgar. Through comes Cooper. Cooper has a look. Fires it up towards Peake. Well, he's played one of the most brilliant quarters I've ever seen him play, Peake, and that's saying something. And I've seen him play a lot of great quarters, but East Fremantle needed it here, and he's done it.
Yep. And I reckon Melly might have said, go out and win the game for us, Peaky.
Peake from the 50-metre line. He spoiled the effort with a poor kick out of bounds on the full.
He just scored
8-7 East Fremantle. Subiaco 11-7-73.
And Cooper played very well then, I thought. His vision was excellent. He had to go right across the ground, but he found Peake. And East Fremantle have been very wasteful in this quarter, even though they kicked a lot of goals. What did they kick? 5, but by Joe, they must have missed as many as that.
Keenan Durack. Peake at the front of the pack. Taps the ball out now. This is Quill. Sterrett. Bit high. He had to wait for it. Oops. Over Christie's head. This is Cooper. Cooper grabbed a bit high. Play on. In towards Peake. Peake will get it on. Up towards full forward. Sparks is behind it for Subiaco. Gets grabbed. Play on. In goes Jenkins. Back on the field now. Renstead. Through he goes. Lester Smith takes the shot. Close. A goal. Lester Smith's 4th. 4 goals for Lester Smith in the quarter. East Fremantle 13-15-93. Subiaco 11-7-73.
And that's quite incredible. He did it in the first semi-final after being well held. And there's Jenkins playing the ball. That's Renstead. Out it goes to the left footer. And he's very neat as he just chips it up in the air. Lets the breeze do its work. And it brings the ball back for a goal. 4 for the quarter. Sensational.
Centre bounce. Keane against Durack. Keane's knock to Taylor. Gives the ball to Cox. In front is Heady for Subiaco. In front of O'Sullivan. Heady goes for length into the forward pocket now. Georgiades is behind. Chance here for
Good Shepherd.
45.
Oh, he fumbled.
Fumbled the football. Gets away from Ellis. Carpenter waits. Under pressure from Sterrett. And the umpire to bounce the ball just inside the boundary. By.G. Sterrett's played a good game on the wing against Carpenter in this quarter.
Sterrett had a very good start to the game, then a quiet period when he was reported, but he, like most of his teammates, has lifted in this quarter.
Georgiades to go for the knock is out ruck by Sullivan. Then Ellis has punched it 35 metres up onto the wing. Edgar's hand pass to Quill. Quill's kicked it straight up in the air. Laurie Keane is there with Durack. Keane takes that very good mark.
Good mark. He's a very experienced footballer, isn't he, Laurie Keane?
Oh, yes, and he gets out around Durack. He'll go for the goals, Laurie Keane. Will he reach? He won't. Oh, one-handed ahead. He play on, says the umpire. Rankin ties the ball up in the pack and the umpire to bounce it. That was nearly a mark to Heady. And he has a word with the umpire. He says, what about that?
Yeah. Really? And I've got a feeling if Georgiades hadn't been there, he would have pulled that in. Let's have another look at it. Oh, he brought it a long way down, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he's got every right to go crook.
O'Sullivan wins the knock. Hutchison misses the football. Sockered by Georgiades is smothered. Chance here for Heady. Rankin.
Who's at home?
Up towards centre-half back. Brian Taylor outnumbered. Edgar. Now it's Quill. Grabbed by Carpenter. Durack dives on the football. Edgar. And Christie for East Fremantle. Into the middle. Looks for Jenkins. Lee and Sterrett. Lee, good soccer kick. Who'll win the race to the ball? Dargy, tackled by Renstead. Now the race is on with Lee in front. Renstead's got the set.
Well played, Mick
Well
Lee.
played by Lee, but East Fremantle's Roland goes in with a hard bump. And the ball's out of play. Forward pocket for Subiaco.
That's a sensational passage of football, George. You won't see any more pressure than that. I don't care where you play.
13-15 East Fremantle, 11-7 Subiaco. We're at the 26-minute mark of the third quarter. Ball comes out now to Waterman. This is Edgar. Back to Waterman. That's good football. Draws the man. Gives it to Sterrett. Sterrett back to Waterman. That's what you call run-on football. Out to Browning. Look at this. That's classic football.
Yep, and we'll get back to that in a minute. It's really interesting.
Browning now won't make the distance, I don't think. Oh, he might. It's carried. It's a goal. It's a goal. The Breeze has carried it through. Browning's fourth. East Fremantle go further ahead. 14-15-99 to Subiaco 11-7-73.
Keane took the punt to go into the forward line to try and create a goal for Subiaco. Hence, they didn't have a man behind play, Subiaco, and it made it very easy for East Fremantle to use this chain reaction. No man in loose in defence where Keane would normally be. That's Sterrett with the ball now. It's a magnificent passage of football. Waterman, a very neat left footer, sorts out to Browning, and he's taken the mark.
East Fremantle lead by 26 points. Cooper takes the ball, gets it out wide onto the wing. Renstead's got the run of the play. Jenkins does good work to give him a clear passage. This is Sterrett. Being chased by Dargy. Long kick by Sterrett. Now to beauty into the goal square. Browning, no, he can't reach it. Knocked away by Kemp. Bryce, back to Kemp. Subiaco under great pressure. Kemp will clear onto the outer side. Looks for Brian Taylor.
Oh, he's dropped it.
No, it's Lee. Lee to Dargy. Dargy boots it into the middle of the ground. Ellis is here with Georgiades. Good play by Ellis. He gets the free kick. Georgiades frustrated there.
Well, Ellis has got to take great credit for this comeback by East Fremantle. You know, he shut Georgiades out of the game, and he was Subiaco's best player in the first half.
Cooper's got the ball. Cooper kicks right down the middle of the field. Waterson's in the pack. Hutchinson's hand pass goes back into the pack. Now it comes out to McDougall. Kicks Subiaco into the centre. Georgiades. Neil Taylor goes in and clashes with Renstead. Georgiades has got the football. Holding the ball, says the umpire. The free kick goes away by O'Sullivan. Now we're in time on by 3.5 minutes. O'Sullivan with a long kick over centre-half forward. Browning the target. Knocks the ball on. Waterson. Good finessing by the big fellow. Browning. Pot shot on goal. Close. I think it's a goal. It is. Fifth goal to Browning. East Fremantle 15-15. 105. Subiaco 11-7-73.
Well, I thought they were very wasteful mid-quarter. When they got to the front, East Fremantle become very wasteful. But there's Browning, this away, that away. Better have a shot, one step, and that's all you need to kick a goal. But East Fremantle have finished off the quarter absolutely magnificently. And now it's Subiaco's turn to come back with the breeze. George, I think it's almost getting out of their reach.
Well, East Fremantle outplayed them in the second term, missed a lot of goal opportunities, and have outplayed them in the third. They've kicked 8 goals, 6 in this quarter, and Subiaco have kicked 1 behind, Keith. Now a chance for Subiaco. Neil Taylor up to centre-half forward. Georgiades can't reach it, but he can take a shot at goal. Gets round Rankin, fires it in from 30 metres, and gets full points for Subiaco. If they needed a goal, they needed one there. That's 5 goals to Georgiades. 12-7, Subiaco 79. East Fremantle 15-15, 105.
Goals in the time-on period win footy matches. He gets a lovely bounce here, John Georgiades. He's a lethal left footer. O'Sullivan, Rankin applying the pressure, but he had space, he had time, and he had ability to steer it right through the middle into the breeze. It's a very valuable goal, but their first for the quarter, Ken, at the 30-minute mark is hardly good enough.
And Keith, before that goal, East Fremantle scored 12 of the previous 13 goals in the match.
Keane goes up with Durack. Keane a big knock. Chance for Hutchison. Gets the ball to Neil Taylor, up to centre-half forward, Heady and O'Sullivan.
Must be a kick.
Oh, no, he didn't play it. Through comes Ellis for East Fremantle. Onto the outer wing. Lays it out to the boundary, Ellis. Cooper's out there, but it beats him across the line.
I suppose it'll be a long quarter, George. There's been, what, 8-9 goals kicked. 8 to East Fremantle, 1 to Subiaco. That's 9 right. Goals for the quarter.
We've played 5.5 minutes of time on Keith in this third term. Durack and Keane comes to Christie to Renstead. Peak. And the siren as Peak puts it up forward. I think Browning might have marked that, but siren beat East Fremantle. And a three-quarter time, a brilliant third term by East Fremantle. 15-15, 105. Subiaco, 12 goals, 7. And that's 79. 105 points to 79 means it's a lead of 26 points to East Fremantle. Now at half-time, they trailed by 21 points. So they've turned it around by 47 in the third quarter. And that's an amazing bit of football by East Fremantle. Browning's got 5 goals. Lester Smith 4. He kicked all of them in the third quarter. He kicked 4, I think, in the third quarter of the first semi. 2 goals each to Waterson, Rowland and Little. And for Subiaco, 5 goals to Georgiades, 3 goals to Heady, 1 each to Neil Taylor, McDougall, Dargy and Hutchison. Well, there were smiles all round in the Subiaco camp in the first quarter. Hayden Bunt looked as if he'd done a magnificent job for the Subiaco side, which he had, but it's worn off, Keith.
Well, I don't think Hayden Bunt would have expected that. He knew he was kicking into the breeze in the third quarter, but he wouldn't have expected East Fremantle to come back and play as they did after their first half performance. But maybe, George, the writing was on the wall in that second quarter, because had they kicked straight, they could have kicked at least 3 or 4 more goals. They missed the goals, and that gave Subiaco the breathing space. But, gee, in that quarter, East Fremantle, they got their confidence up. They were irrepressible, and there's the man that really started it all, Brian Peake. A superhuman effort by him in that quarter. We're going to get some stats on him in a minute. And I was saying in the first half that he had to lift his game to stay on the field, because he was one of the weaker players in the East Fremantle side. There's not many times in his career I could say that about Brian Peake. But I wouldn't mind betting that Melly said to him in the third quarter, come on, Peaky, what about coming out and win the game of footy for us? And boy, didn't he turn it on. George Christie came to the party. Lester Smith up in the forward line. I thought Durack did superbly in the ruck. He didn't beat Keane, but he halved him. And I thought Ellis at centre-half back was absolutely superb. And I suppose the guy that really did start this, if we go back to the second quarter, is Shane Ellis, because he put the brakes on Georgiades. He started to allow East Fremantle to rebound the ball from the back line, and all of a sudden, East Fremantle are in business. But there's no substitute for experience. It all came through then. Having said that, the game's not over yet. No, Button's boys won't lie down.
No, it's not over yet. Subiaco have got the breeze. Those flags are quite fresh over on the scoreboard. South Westerly favouring the Perth end. Bunt now trying to razz the side up. But that little fellow, Lester Smith from East Fremantle, he's like a toy. You can wind him up.
It's incredible that in 2 final round games, he should do almost the identical thing. He kicked 4 goals in the third quarter of the first semi-final against South Fremantle and changed the game. He's kicked another 4 goals in this quarter of the third quarter of the preliminary final, and that must be some sort of a record. It was just a complete repetition of what happened 2 games in a row.
Back to Keith in a moment. Ken Casellas, what were the outstanding stats in the third quarter?
Well, the outstanding statistics in the third quarter, George, surrounded all the East Fremantle players. Peake, Christie, Lester Smith, Quill, Waterson, Ellis and Waterman. And in the third quarter, Brian Peake, 3 marks, 9 kicks and 3 effective hand passes in the third term. George Christie, he had 2 kicks in the first half of football. He had 8 kicks in the third quarter. And looking at Brian Peake's 9 kicks in the third quarter, he had only 4 kicks in the first half. Lester Smith, after a quiet first half, had 6 kicks in the third quarter. Quill on his wing had 7 kicks in the third term. Waterson had 4. Ellis continued to play well with 5 kicks in the third quarter, and Chris Waterman had 5 kicks. So those 7 East Fremantle players certainly were dominant performers in the third term. And at three-quarter time, the leading kick getter on the field is Peter Quill on the wing for East Fremantle with 16 kicks.
Well, that's amazing, really. He's a very skillful footballer, Quill. What about the big fellow for Subiaco, Laurie Keane?
4 marks, 11 kicks, 6 effective hand passes and 15 effective ruck knockouts. You couldn't ask more from Laurie Keane.
That's some sort of a game, isn't it, Keith?
Yeah.
Laurie Keane.
Laurie Keane, he was absolutely superb in that quarter. Had it not been for Laurie Keane, I don't know what East Fremantle would have kicked in that quarter. Could have been 15 goals. But he made one mistake which cost a goal, and I felt unlucky. I thought he was very unlucky. He usually plays a kick behind the game, and he decided that Subiaco was desperate to kick a goal. He left his post from a kick behind the game. He went deep into the forward pocket to try and win a knock. It didn't come off. East Fremantle rebounded the ball. No Keane as a loose man in defence. Browning kicked the goal. He was unlucky, but a superhuman effort by the big man.
Well, what about McDougall, who was such a star in the first half, Ken?
He's had 14 kicks up to three-quarter time. I thought his second quarter was fairly innocuous, but McDougall did get into the game in the latter stages of the third quarter, and he had 4 kicks for a three-quarter time tally of 14. But some of the Subiaco players were virtually non-existent in the third quarter. Greg Carpenter moved out of the game after a very good first quarter. Dargie's battled on the wing all day for kicks, and he's well below form.
Now, of course, you mentioned Carpenter, but Sterrett played on him in the third quarter. Sterrett had a pretty good term.
Yes, he had 4 kicks and 4 effective hand passes, 3 marks in the third quarter. So Sterrett disposed of the ball 8 times in the third quarter, and he gave East Fremantle a lot of on midfield impetus.
I thought what was a surprising move by Button was when he shifted Bremen away from centre-half back, because in the early part of that quarter, even though the Sharks had got right on top, I didn't think he was playing all that badly. But all of a sudden he was missing. He went to full forward, and he was unsighted for the rest of the
He was left in the cold.
Yep, he was, and I thought he'd done a pretty serviceable job even in that third quarter, the early part of it.
Yes, indeed, and Subiaco will need a great performance from a player like Todd Bremen in the final quarter. In the final quarter, Bremen's going to line up at full forward, and Subi will need 4 or 5 goals from this talented goal sneak to get back and win this game. And also they'll need plenty from John Georgiades at centre-half forward.
Yeah, I know the temptation is there to play Bremen at the full forward, but I thought that his performance at centre-half back was good enough. His kicking was long enough to leave him there, and I'm a little disappointed because really Subiaco don't have 2 key backmen in their side.
Now they've got a lot of ordinary defenders.
Well, Will Monaghan is out of the side. There's Graham Melrose, and gee, he'd be feeling a real soft after performing as well as they did in the third quarter and the latter part of the second quarter. And nothing makes a coach feel better than when a side responds to him like that.
What about the breeze? The difference here is 26 points in favour of East Fremantle. Subiaco got the breeze. What difference do you think that?
Oh, that's 3 or 4 goal breeze. That blew very strongly in the third quarter. In fact, I couldn't help but notice long kicks into the breeze were holding up fairly strongly. So there's no doubt that Subiaco have got the breeze. Have they got enough petrol in the tank to use it effectively? Quite often you have a breeze in the last quarter, but you just don't have enough left. And of course, the breeze without any effort at ground level by the players, it means nothing at all. Shane Cochran back on the field. He's gone to full forward. Bremen, he's gone to full forward pocket. Bremen is at full forward. Georgiades would be still at centre-half forward. Here we go.
The siren for the last quarter of the preliminary final. Who will win the match and go into the grand final against Clement? Umpire O'Reilly's got the football. East Fremantle 26 points in front. Keane wins the knock. Christie missed the football, diving onto it, Cooper. Now it's Renstead. And Hutchison for Subiaco. McDougall. Neil Taylor here on the members' wing. Playing the ball wide, Subiaco, but they're in front. Oh, easy mark dropped by Cocker. With him is Shane Ellis. In goes Renstead. Ellis there again. And now it's Rankin with a chance for East Fremantle to clear the ball. Dogged football by Rankin. In towards centre half-back. Sterrett's taken the mark. Sterrett out towards half-forward, and Jenkins takes the mark for East Fremantle.
There's a gap at the centre-half forward now. Would think that Graham Jones playing there. He's not a centre-half back.
Peake and Bryce. Durack behind. Good shepherding by Bryce. Bryce, can he get the hand pass out? He can't, so the umpire will bounce the ball. Umpire Johnson.
They look pretty tired to me, Subiaco, George.
Yes, they can't afford to let East Fremantle score here. Keane wins the knock. Peake's got it inside 50. Hooks on goal. Dropping short. Clint Brown. And it's gone across the line, out of bounds. They've been very close to his boot.
Yep, it did. Graham Jones playing at centre-half back is a very big risk by Hayden Button. I know he needs goals, but you've got to create them as well as kick them.
Keane coming from behind Waterson. Wins the knock. Sterrett, good football by Sterrett, keeps it in play, fires back towards goal. That's out on the full, but it was magnificent ball control by Sterrett. Subiaco get the free kick back into play to be taken by Clint Brown. 15-15 East Fremantle. Subiaco 12-7.
He's got no alternative. He's got to go for Keane.
And he goes for Keane. Durack's been dogging him since half-time. Keane takes a brilliant mark. What a beauty. Oh, and he shrugs off Durack, plays on, treated him with contempt, puts it up along the wing position. Hutchison for Subiaco, good clean ball handling that time. He can fire it to Bremen. Bremen on the lead, and Rowland's missed it. In goes Ellis. Bremen Shovels it onto Cocker. Open goal. Full points to Subiaco. That'll let them. Subiaco moved to 13-7. 85. East Fremantle 15-15. 105.
Yeah, but I didn't think Freeman wanted that ball badly enough. He let the ball bounce. He took an enormous risk, but he plays well here and unselfishly gets the ball to Cocker. East Fremantle defence was out of position, and Shane Cocker has kicked one. They need 3 or 4 more of them. The game has got plenty left in it. Got 20 points to difference.
Well,
Subiaco kicking with the breeze.
We've been wondering when we get a close final. It's only 20 points at the moment.
Must be your influence, George.
Well, I've had plenty of time in the game. I deserve all those breaks. This is Taylor. McDougall knocks it on.
No one out.
Rankin. Out of wing position. The man in front is Hutchinson. Carpenter. Grabbed by Quill. Shakes him out. Good football. Subiaco bouncing back. Breman. East Fremantle defending hard through Roland. And the umpire penalises East Fremantle for holding the ball. Gee whiz. Free kick to Breman.
Now, if you have another look at that.
If he kicks a goal here, it'll only be 14 points the difference in favour of East Fremantle.
Breman, has he kicked one? I don't think he has.
No, he hasn't. He's played most of the game in the back line.
I think Todd Breman's kicked about 1 goal in his last 5 games of league football.
So you don't reckon he'll be that confident about kicking this one, Ken?
No.
Oh, he's a pretty good kick, and he's got the breeze right behind him from out there. He'll have no trouble with the distance. Kicks from 48 metres. It's right on target. Another goal for Subiaco. They've scored 2 goals in a row. A move to 14-7-91. East Fremantle 15-15, 105. A lot of people around West Australia watching ABC television are on the edge of their seats, Keith.
And a lot of supporters in Kalgoorlie are off just come back from, boy, would they be getting up their chairs right now. They are right behind the lines in Kalgoorlie, much the same as Geraldton are behind the Sharks. Let's have a look at this controversial free kick.
Max Viskovich is not behind the lines up in Kalgoorlie.
There's Scott Rowland trying to get rid of the ball. And the umpire didn't think he made a strong enough effort. He was a little unlucky for mine.
East Fremantle lead by 14 points. Keenan Durack. Now they're playing for keeps, both teams here. Socket out by Neil Taylor. There's a 30-metre race for the football. Man in front had just missed the football. Jenkins to Christie. Oh! Presser. Jenkins to Renstead, but deflected by Subiaco. To Neil Taylor. Look at Subi going hard. To Heady. Now it's O'Sullivan. Waterman. No room to move. Chance for Cocker.
Oh, who to?
Dargy. Grabbed by Christie. Dargy's a strong player, but he hits the ball straight to Waterman. And Waterman escapes with a beautiful bit of weaving. On to Renstead. Renstead goes down the middle of the field. Browning. Not quite. Brown for Subiaco. Browning's at the bottom of the pack. The umpire to bounce the ball.
Gee, what a careless handball by Dargy.
East Fremantle 15-15. Subiaco 14-7. 105-91. Wouldn't the talent scouts be enjoying this game? This is Browning. Christie. Sparks races back, but Waterson wins the race. He's on the wrong foot. Lester Smith.
Oh, he's clear.
Lester Smith 15 metres out. Oh, across the face of goal. Through from behind. East Fremantle 15-16. 106. Subiaco 14-7. 91.
Now, it's very important that Clint Brown makes the most of this kick in. In fact, Brian Taylor's going to take it. He can start attacks from here.
Into Kemp in the back pocket.
Oh, that's careless.
He's going to pick it up.
Oh,
they've messed it up. Bryce. Carpenter. He's got Lester Smith to beat. Holding the ball.
good decision. Good decision. He tried to con the free kick. He got caught.
That was stupid play in the back line by Subiaco. They couldn't afford to make the mistake. Now, Lester Smith is too far out, in my opinion, to get the score.
I think they're very tight, George. They're making mistakes. We saw Dargy a few minutes ago. That's Quill.
Quill to Durack. Right in front, 45 metres out. Subiaco went to sleep there, Keith.
Yes, that's what you do when you're tired, George. You make mistakes. Your concentration level is not as high. And I just feel that Subiaco are a very tired side.
Durack. Drop punts off the side. No score. Browning couldn't mark. Hutchinson's at the bottom of the pack. The umpire to bounce the ball, umpire Johnson. Poor kick by Durack at goal that time. I'm not criticising you, I'm just saying it was a poor kick. Kicking into the breeze. Keane wins the knock. Brian Taylor. Lee. Boundary throw in.
We could have penalised that, the umpire. A very deliberate scoop out of bounds.
East Fremantle have got it in a scoring position. They lead by 15 points. Hutchinson for Subiaco. Lee trying to punch it. Waterson taps it onto Little, but he's hustled over the boundary by Hutchinson. Another throw in.
You get the feeling, George, that both sides are very desperate to win this game.
Yeah, this is real finals football, isn't it, Keith?
Brother.
Laurie Keane again goes against Durack. Now Jones goes up, wins the knock. Bryce is there, he's got Peake to beat. Laurie Keane steals the ball, plays it wide of the pack. Redstead, good tackle by Jones, holding the football. Jones has got the free of Peake, argues with the umpire. But that was a strong grab by Jones. Jones kicks into the centre of the ground. O'Sullivan from behind goes for the knock away. Good recovery by O'Sullivan. Bryce has missed it. Peake, he can wrap it up. Takes the shot from 45. Good kick from a Peake. It's a goal. A goal to East Fremantle. 16-16, 112 East Fremantle. Subiaco 14-7, 91.
Young Bryce overrunning the ball. You cannot afford to do that, especially when Peake is right behind you. And there's young Bryce. He had the ball, just too tired to get down. Peake, the oldest man on the field, snaps in, and that could well be the sealer. That gives a little bit of breathing space. 21 points, and that might just be enough.
Well, if you're watching the game, which I know, well, you are watching the game, still be on the edge of your seat. Still plenty of time left. It's only the 9-minute mark of the last quarter. Keane, look at that. He's punched it to centre half forward. It's beaten the pad. It's gone up to the 50-metre line. Georgiades over the top to Cocker. He's 20 metres in the clear. They've messed it up, Subiaco. He's gone a million, Cocker. Play on, says the umpire. Gee, they had a certain goal there, Subiaco, if they'd have played that correctly.
Well, Georgiades was almost compelled to give it a Cocker, but really, in retrospect, he would have been far better to go on because he kicks that type of goal.
Well, if they'd have kicked a goal there 5 seconds from the bounce, it would have really lifted him. Hooked by Bremen.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, this is Waterman. Now he can run the ball out of the fence here. Puts it up onto the wing position. Rankin dives, smothers the football. It's out of play. 60 metres from the Subiaco goals.
Well, big Laurie Keane walks across a kick behind the game, shaking his head. Why did John Georgiades do that?
Cocker. Carpenter. Up into the centre half forward area. O'Sullivan. The mark's played to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan goes wide to Ellis, very experienced player, made good position. Out in front of Christie, the captain. Christie to the half-forward line now. And Subiaco's Jones takes a good mark. He's improved this season, Jones.
Oh, look at this.
Keane, he set him up. Cooper spoils him. Taken by Lee. And Hutchison for Subiaco now. Hutchison the short pass and the mark to Darky. Too far out to score to Brian Taylor. They messed it up again. He's bumped over by Renstead. Cooper gets the football. Back to Renstead. Onto Edgar. East Fremantle thriving on a Subiaco mistake. The touch ball here. This is Lester Smith. Now it's Jones. Keane. Look at the big fellow loading up for Torpedo. He doesn't get onto this one. On Heady takes the mark at centre half forward. Brett Heady.
Go long, go long.
He goes for a short pass. Subiaco mark. And they're within scoring distance now. Through Hutchison.
There's a good kick. He should have a go. He's got the breeze.
11 1/4 minutes gone in the last quarter. Subiaco trailing by 21 points. Hutchison can't afford to miss. It's off. Oh, he's allowed too much for the breeze, and it goes through from behind. 14-8-92 Subiaco. East Fremantle 16-16, 112.
Now Jenkins is coming off. Who's going on? There's no one on the interchange. Oh, here he comes now. Wolf is coming back on.
Long kick out by O'Sullivan onto the outer wing. Quill is out there with Carpenter. Carpenter's got the one on the play. Goes across field to Keane. Keane shrugs off one, shrugs off two. Strong football up the full forward. And Subiaco mark. Freeman 30 metres out, right in front.
Jenkins off, and Wolf is back on, George.
Laurie Keane, a magnificent effort.
He's got to be best on ground, I think, doesn't he?
He beat 2 tackles there, Keith.
Yeah, he's been a superhuman performance by him.
Yeah.
Great to see him come back from the Eagles and put in for Subi, isn't it?
It'd be disappointing if Bremen messed it up now by missing the shot. Drop punt, goal umpire doesn't move. That's full points to Subiaco, so the Lions are still alive and kicking. 15-8, 98 to East Fremantle, 16-16, 112, 2 goals to Bremen.
Yeah, I'd sooner be in East Fremantle's place than Subiaco because both sides are very tired. Subi look a little more tired to me because they're making unforced errors time after time. We've seen several handballs which have been very ordinary in this quarter. They trail by 14 points. They need to kick another goal quickly. If they can do that, then it just might lift every player in the side.
Now, Wolf is back on the field. He's gone into the centre square to contest the ruck knockout against Keane. I wonder whether he's still carrying that hip injury, Keane. We'll see. Keane beats him. Georgiades. O'Sullivan knocks it away. Good football, O'Sullivan. Out to Quill. Quill to Peake. Peake knocks it on cleverly. Chance for Waterson. Up to full forward. Browning in front. Browning to take the solid goal for East Fremantle. Now, he's a wily customer, Browning. He likes to take the marks from behind, but he also knows the value of playing in front in a situation like that.
Yeah, in this situation, you're quite right, George. He knew the ball was being kicked into the breeze, and Shane Cocker has had him off again. Ball Cox on.
Now, Browning. East Fremantle need this goal. They only lead by 14 points. Drop punt is high in the air. It's a good one. It's going through for a goal for East Fremantle. 17-16, 118 to the Sharks. And Subiaco, the Lions are 15-8, 98. That's 6 goals for Browning, and that's a very good performance.
Yep, and I think Subiaco can come back now. Cox has gone into a forward pocket. Cocker is off, and that's got to be a good move because Cocker being asked to do a rover's job in a forward pocket, just not up to it. So on goes a rover and young Paul Cox, and he must be pretty fresh. And if Subiaco can get down there, he can make a hero of himself here.
Well, Subiaco have kicked 3 goals in the last quarter. East Fremantle have kicked 2. We're halfway through the quarter. 14.5-minute mark. Laurie Keane and Wolf. Keane back to Lee. Lee up to centre half forward. And Heady takes the mark. He's good in the air, this boy. Heady runs on now. No pressure there from East Fremantle. Slams it goal from 55 metres. Deep kick. East Fremantle touch it and then run it through O'Sullivan. Behind the Subiaco, 15-9. Sorry, yeah, they've changed the scoreboard over there on the electronic scoreboard. They've got the wrong score. It's 15-9, 99. To East Fremantle, 17-16, 118. O'Sullivan punts long to the member side. That's a 55-metre kick. Renstead gives the ball to Waterman. Still with Waterman. Onto Ellis. Ellis will kick a little short pass here to Sterrett, just outside the half-forward flank. Sterrett kicks into the pocket, hoping that Browning can take the mark. He's in front. Got a rash. Gets the free kick. Browning. Clever football by Browning. He had the front spot. Now he'll be punting on goal from just over 45 metres out. He's kicked 6 goals already. East Fremantle lead by 19 points. Short pass to Waterson. That's unselfish football, Keith, but also very confident football.
Yep, and he realises that the possession is very important at this stage of the game. At 15, we're about halfway through the last quarter.
Now you see the shot there for Waterson. He's in the correct pocket for a left footer. Drop punt. Oh, a bit wide. One behind only. 17-17. 119 to East Fremantle. 15-9, 99 to Subiaco.
20 points the difference. They're almost compelled to go right up the middle of the ground now with this kick in.
16.25 minutes gone in the last quarter. Subiaco need to get a hurry on now. Brown goes down the middle.
Oh, it's
Jones
a courageous
nearly
effort.
marked it. Now a chance for Cooper. Onto Renstead for East Fremantle. Up into the forward pocket. Edgar. He's taken a few marks today, Edgar.
Yes.
It's his 6th mark. 4 of those 6 marks have been absolute rippers.
Pretty straightforward one that time, but can he kick a goal now? Edgar off the side of the boot and out of bounds on the full. Free kick back into play to be taken by Hutchinson. It's the wrong end of the field now for Subiaco. 20 points is the difference. Time starting to run out now, Keith.
Yes, and I think the legs will be starting to run out too.
Hutchinson onto the half-back flank. Georgiades sets. East Fremantle had 3 men up. The ball comes down to Bryce. Not a good kick. Peake slams the Sharks forward. Browning and Sparks. Nice play by Sparks to spoil him. This is Kemp out of the back pocket. Kicks it up towards the middle. Hutchison takes the mark. Hutchison goes wide to Neil Taylor. Cooper closing on him, but Neil Taylor's got the football.
Lee has got legs.
Lee, call for that. They've messed it up. They've messed a few of these up. Through comes Ellis. Back to Taylor. What will he do this time? Yes, all Subiaco. Georgiades has taken the mark, I think, or is it Cox? Cox has taken the mark.
A new player on. The Fremantle supporter getting very worried indeed. Nails are gone. He's into his finger.
Now, Cox can kick goals. I saw him in one game at Bassendean earlier this season, kick a handful of goals. Drop punt on its way. The goal umpire not moving a great deal. It's full points to Subiaco. That makes it interesting. They're 16-9, 105. East Fremantle 17-17, 119.
I thought the tiredness in Subiaco came through then in the form of Mick Lee, because he's a very courageous player. There's Cox kicking the goal, and he made good position for Neil Taylor's handball. When it wasn't a good handball, he just couldn't recover as quickly. A big part of Mick Lee's game is recovery, just never had the stamina to get back after it.
Subiaco have kicked 4 goals to East Fremantle's 2 in this last quarter kick. Keane and Wolf. Keane down to Lee. Lee wide over the wing. This is Quill for East Fremantle. Goes deep into the forward pocket now. Kemp knocks the ball down, but Little's the first to recover. Shakes off Kemp. Hooks the ball round towards centre half forward. Watterson, good mark. Brown couldn't get his fist into that one. And at times he's played quite a good game, Watterson.
Yeah, after half-time he's been quite good. In fact, halfway through the second quarter he started to get kicks, but he couldn't find the big opening. And since then he's been a very effective player.
Well, now can he put another one on the board? He has kicked 2 goals, Watterson. East Fremantle lead by 14 points. Dropped punt, looks pretty close. He's missed it.
2 goals, 5.
Gee, East Fremantle letting Subiaco off the hook. They're 17-18, 120. Subiaco 16-9, 105. Clint Brown to kick in. We're at the 19.5-minute mark of the last quarter. Brown a high kick, up right up towards the edge of the square. And it's Renstead, gets it to Peake. Peake misses it. Lee, his kick is smothered. In goes Dargy. Can he break free? He can. Can he set something up? He kicks long to the half-forward line. Georgiades and O'Sullivan. Play on, says the umpire. Christie, but the free kick to Georgiades against O'Sullivan.
Held by the arm by O'Sullivan.
Holding the man. Georgiades now can kick long. Magnificent torpedo right to the goal square. Heady couldn't mark it. Interference to Heady, and Heady's got the free kick.
And I tell you what, Brett Heady, I haven't seen a lot of him, but he's been a very good player today for Subiaco.
He was good in the air, and the East Fremantle player, I suppose, had to interfere with him. Otherwise, he might have taken the mark. Now, if he kicks a goal here, it'll be...
What, George?
9 points the difference. 9 points the difference, and we're at the 20.5-minute mark as he comes in to take the shot. Heady's kicked 3 goals today. Punts this up onto the mound. He's hooked the kick, but it's straight through for a goal. 9 points the difference. Subiaco trailing. They're 17-9, trailing East Fremantle 17-18.
And Heady has kicked 4 goals. And by Joe, what a good performance it's been. Now, Mick Lee's coming off the field. I think, yes, it is. But he's out on his feet. And Shane Cocker will go back on. Where will he go? Very interesting. This game has still got a bit of footy left in it. 20 minutes gone.
He's going a kick behind the game, Cocker. A kick behind the play, Keith.
Not a bad place for him to be either.
Now, Laurie Keane lining up for the ruck knock against Clinton Wolf. 21 minutes, 20 seconds gone. East Fremantle lead by 9 points in the preliminary final. Keane the knock to centre half forward. Georgiades. McDougall. Dargy, but Renstead wins the day for East Fremantle. Renstead punts onto the outer wing, hoping that Quill can get possession. Good mark, no, not paid, he didn't hold the ball. Tackled by Carpenter. Play on, says the umpire. Carpenter taps it to Neil Taylor. Back to Carpenter. Subiaco look good. And they got a loose man. Heady takes the mark within scoring distance. They'll kick from the 50-metre line with the trees behind him. 9 points the difference.
Neil Taylor is going down the ground. Headey's just a bit too far out. He feels he should have a go.
Well, he's got to have a go.
Yeah, he's got marking power. He's got Bremen. He's got Georgiadis down there.
He can make the difference. 3 points, Headey, if he kicks a goal. Oh, he kicks into the man. And East Fremantle get that off the hook. The hand pass by Cooper. Goes out to favour the teammate there. That's Edgar. Edgar puts it down the wing position. And it's run across the boundary by Little. Well, he crept in too close to the man on the mark, Headey, because he was striving for the distance.
Yep. There's 23 minutes gone. I reckon about 7 minutes left in this game. And the Subiaco trail by 9 points. They have the breeze. They still have a chance.
This is the close final you've been looking forward to for the last 3 or 4 years, Keith. Keane's not. Hand pass by Kemp. Up into the open spaces. Wensted's beaten to the football by Headey. Headey up into the pocket. Hutchison, 55 metres from goal, Hutchison. Infield to Dargy. He waits. Oh,
Must be a kick.
He couldn't hold the mark. Ellis was closing on him. Now it's O'Sullivan for East Fremantle. He's got a loose man out here at Christie. And East Fremantle now can play the ball safely. Christie's got no one within 30 metres. East Fremantle captain on November's wing. Punts low towards Blake, with him Bryce. Well, Bryce shunted him off the ball. Socket forward by Cocker. Straight to Christie. Christie goes for the handball to Browning. Browning knocks on brilliantly. Left to Smith. Here's Bomber Peak. 50 metres out across the face of goal. Durack can't mark. Shot at goal by Watterson, but the whistle's gone. It's going to be a bounce down. 15 metres from the East Fremantle goals.
Oh, what a game. What a sensational game of footy.
I reckon those Victorian talent scouts must think that they're back in Melbourne watching a Hawthorn-Carlton match or something like that.
That's right. And the Vic think there aren't any class footy in Australia. They've got another thing coming, haven't they?
We're at the 24-minute mark. Knockout by Keane. Taylor, Brian Taylor. Punts towards the half-back flank. Ball bouncing awkwardly. It's Quill tapping it down for Ellis. Ellis ties it up. He could be penalised. He's holding the ball. Subiaco's free, going the way of Kemp. It's 9 points the difference. East Fremantle in front as Kemp punts to centre half-back and Subiaco mark through Carpenter. Kick is smothered. Peak falls over. Subiaco a chance through Dargy. Dargy has a look, kicks into the middle of the ground. Good pass, and the mark taken by Hutchison. Hutchison now kicks to the half-forward flank. Georgiadis provides the lead and takes the mark in front of O'Sullivan, but he's 70 metres from goal, Georgiadis. He'll look for Bremen here, I reckon.
He's going all the way.
All the way. He's hoping Bremen can mark it. He's got 2 men to beat. It's bounced past the pack. It could be a goal. It wasn't touched. It wasn't. It's a goal. A goal to Georgiadis from 70 metres. It's 3 points the difference. Georgiadis has kicked 6 goals. Subiaco 18-9, 117. East Fremantle 17-18, 120.
Let's have a look at it. He's kicked it from about 65 metres. Bremen 1 on 2. No one's touched it. It's got plenty of overspin on it. Back goes Rowland. Too late, son. 3 points the difference.
25 and a half minutes of play gone. 30 seconds in of time on. There'd be about 4 and a half minutes to go, Keane.
Yeah,
who's going to win?
Well, gosh.
Keane in the ruck. Doesn't get favoured by the bounce. Cooper wins the knock. Peak, he can't afford to make a blue, and he doesn't. Peak punts towards centre half forward. Ellis knocked away by Cocker. Browning's there. Brian Taylor sticks it out to Kemp. Kemp kicks long. Subiaco go to attack. Cooper couldn't reach the football. O'Sullivan now, but he's backed up by Edgar. Edgar kicks towards the half-forward line. Browning in front of Cocker takes the mark. And the Sharks breathe a huge sigh of relief. They're gulping for air at the moment, the Sharks. Kick is wide, out to Peak.
Why not?
Peak inside 50, blazes on goal. He's hooked it. And it's knocked through from behind by Clint Brown. And the difference is 4 points in favour of East Fremantle.
4 minutes to go.
They're 17-19, 121. Subiaco 18-9, 117.
And can they do it? All they need is a couple of kicks right down the middle.
Kick out by Brown on the member side. Keane and Wolf. Oh, Peak at the back. Cocker coming closing in, but Peak fires it wide to Wenstead, and that's experience. And Wenstead will play for time. He's had a look at the scoreboard, had a look at the clock. Back it goes to Peak. They're playing for time. Peak into the pocket. Christie They're spending valuable time here, Keith.
Yes, they are, and this is vintage East Fremantle, isn't it? Keep it off.
Subiaco have got to prevent them from scoring a goal. They'd be better off forcing a behind here. The kick won't reach. Browning's up, no mark. Thrown by Keane, and he gets the mark. Laurie Keane. He's been putting in a Herculean performance all day. Goes for a short pass to Taylor. Subiaco can set something up on the outer side. Subiaco trail by 4 points. We're at the 27.5-minute mark of the last quarter. Taylor kicks into the middle of the field. Carpenter on now to Kemp. Subiaco can win this if they kick a goal. Kemp brings it up to full forward. Georgiades has got away and takes the mark. Georgiades, 40 metres from goal.
Oh, he's got right away. They shifted Ellis, you know, and Georgiades now has got right away from O'Sullivan in this quarter, and that could be a very vital move, that.
Georgiades can put Subiaco in front by 2 points if he kicks a goal. He's hooked the kick. Behind only. What a golden opportunity for Subiaco. Best 18-10, 118. East Fremantle 17-19, 121. Can you believe that? He's kicked 6 goals today and he's missed that one.
I can't believe that Ellis has been taken off him. That's what I can't believe.
Now here's a chance for McDougall. Play on, says the umpire. It's out of bounds.
Only decision. 28.5 minutes gone, George.
28.5 gone. Yes, 3.5 minutes of time on. Wolf wins the knock. Socket from O'Sullivan. Hutchinson's handball to McDougall. McDougall across the face of goal. Georgiades is marked right on the boundary. Georgiades plays infield. Kemp takes it.
50 metres for that.
Right in front. No, 50 metres, but he's right in front. The East Fremantle player holds his head in despair. That's Wolf. And Kemp will fire on goal, and if he kicks this, Subiaco will probably go through to the grand final after looking to spend force, since half-time.
Yep, and I thought halfway through this quarter, 20 minutes into the quarter, I thought they were gone.
Here's Kemp, he can put Subiaco in front, drop Bud high, close, it's a goal! Subiaco hit the front, would you believe? It's an amazing fight back by Subiaco. They're 19-10, 124. East Fremantle 17-19, 121, and we're at the 29.5-minute mark.
And there's been 9 goals kicked in the quarter. So I reckon, George, I reckon there's another 2 minutes to go yet.
Well, we'll see whether you're right, Keith.
9 goals for the quarter. Last quarter went about 32 minutes with 9 goals kicked.
Subiaco kicked 7 goals in the last quarter, and East Fremantle kicked just 2.
Yep, and East Fremantle still got time.
3 points the difference. Subiaco in front, an amazing comeback, won by Wolf the knock. Players going in with Rarabana. Laurie Keane copped one. Play on, says the umpire. Oh, they're going in hard now. It's Hutchinson who scrambles the ball out. Edgar takes the mark for East Fremantle. Edgar realises there's not much time left. He kicks long up towards centre-half forward. And Browning's taken the mark. Too far out to score, Browning. Siren has gone. The siren has gone. Browning is 65 metres out from goal if he's a centimetre. Now, the only way he'll make the distance is if the Subiaco man runs over the mark and gives away 50 metres.
I don't think he will.
I don't think he can possibly make the distance, Browning. If he kicks a goal, East Fremantle will win. No, he hasn't made the distance. Subiaco have won the game. They go through to the grand final. The final score, Subiaco 19-10, 124. East Fremantle 17-19, 121. In one of the greatest finals we've seen for a long, long, long time at Subiaco Oval.
Well, and the standard of football and the pressure applied in this game, George, unsurpassed anywhere in Australia. It was an outstanding game of football. Subiaco controlled the first quarter. In fact, they controlled the first 1.5 quarters. Then East Fremantle controlled the next 1.5 quarters. Then they had a good lead of 26 points at 3/4 time. It was going to be a superhuman effort by Subiaco. They were coming home with the breeze, but they've done it. They stuck to their guns. They didn't let East Fremantle intimidate them. They just kept plugging away, and we saw Gary Kemp from Kalgoorlie, number 45, disappearing into the crowd, kicking the last goal about 30 seconds before the finish, and East Fremantle can be classed as unlucky, but both sides, George, were very courageous today.
Very courageous, but East Fremantle looked as if they had the game won, and they'd be thoroughly dejected now. Look at those players walking off the field. There's Sterrett. He probably can't believe that his team has lost the match.
Well, I really can't believe they've lost the game either. They led by 26 points at half-time, and they were doing it so well that one had have to believe that they had Subiaco beat. 20 minutes into the last quarter, Subiaco were looking very tired indeed. But then they didn't let that affect them. They knew that it could be their last game of the year. They just kept plugging away. And what a Herculean performance by Laurie Keane.
Amazing.
Best man on the ground. And it's a great credit to Laurie Keane that he should come back from a higher grade of football to his home club, Subiaco, and put in the effort today. And I think that that was the biggest effort that he's put in for the whole season, and it happened in the West Australian Football League for Subiaco, and I dip my lid to Laurie Keane.
Well, this match has revved me up for the Olympic Games, which start next Saturday, Keith. I'll give you the tip about that. The goal scorers for Subiaco, Georgiades 6, Heady 4, 2 goals to Bremen, and then 1 goal each to Cocker, Neil Taylor, Cox, McDougall, Dargy and Hutchison, also Kemp. And for East Fremantle, we saw 6 goals to Browning, 4 to Lester Smith, 2 goals each to Waterson, Rowland and Little, and 1 goal to Peake. Just the leading kick getters, Ken Casellas.
Thanks, George. Well, I think Gary Kemp will never forget his 8th kick in the preliminary final here today, which brought up Subiaco's winning goal. But the heroes for Subiaco were Laurie Keane, 6 marks, 15 kicks, 24 effective ruck knockouts and 6 effective hand passes. And John Georgiades at centre-half forward, 8 marks, 19 kicks, and his 19th kick was when he kicked it back into Gary Kemp, who kicked the winning goal. And Georgiades also made 3 effective hand passes. McDougall had 15 kicks. Carpenter on his wing had 16. Of the others, Glenn Hutchison 8 marks, 11 kicks and 10 effective hand passes. Todd Bremen had 11 kicks and 6 effective hand passes. 8 kicks to Kemp, and Brett Heady a good game, 7 marks and 12 kicks. For East Fremantle, Quill, he played well on his wing all day with 18 kicks. Waterman playing mainly in defence, 14 kicks and 8 hand passes. 12 kicks to Browning. Then Brian Peake, a brilliant second half, 8 marks, 21 kicks and 7 effective hand passes to Brian Peake. The captain, George Christie, finished up with 14 kicks. Lester Smith, who kicked 4 goals in the 3rd quarter, he had 13 kicks. And Colin Waterson, 7 marks, 11 kicks, and the free kicks, 23 to Subiaco and 20 to East Fremantle.
Thank you to Ken Casellas. The best players, Keith Slater.
For Subiaco, the winners, Keane, not far behind him, John Georgiades. Why they took Ellis off him in the last quarter, I would never know. McDougall, Heady, Neil Taylor and Hutchison. For East Fremantle, none better than Shane Ellis, Browning, Peake, Edgar, Quill, Waterman and Renstead.
Well, comments there from Keith Slater. I'd like to thank Keith and Ken Casellas for their contribution to this afternoon's coverage. I'm sure you've seen one of the best contests of Australian rules football that you've seen for a long, long time. A magnificent preliminary final. Subiaco going through to the grand final against Claremont. ABC Television will be showing you a live telecast next Sunday afternoon. That's tomorrow week from 2:15 of the grand final between Subiaco and Claremont. The final score here, Subiaco 19 goals 10, defeating East Fremantle 17 goals 19. The final winning margin was 4 points. 4 points in favour of Subiaco, and it's one of the best games of football I've seen for years. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage, and this is George Crittisic now returning you for a preview of the Sandown 500, and tomorrow you can see a live telecast of that event on ABC Television from 11:45.